Yo, you tuned in to Guerilla Cross Radio.
What's up, it's your man No Malice, and you are checking out Guerilla Cross Radio. Speak life.
Yo, what's up, and welcome to another episode of Unnamed Sports Show right here on Guerilla Cross Radio. GuerrillaCross.com, streaming live on the Guerilla Cross app for free, so get that. We are the sports show without a name, and that might change. Everyone's tripping out over the name today. I don't know what's in the air, but we're going to talk about that today. We have World Cup to talk about. We have some NBA draft, free agency, NHL draft. No, we don't know it. Oh, Tracy could talk about it. I know zero college players. Zero college players. Yeah, all here today on Unnamed Sports Show right here on Guerilla Cross Radio. If you're watching live on the Facebook feed, please share the Facebook video. If you are listening to the podcast, thank you. And you can leave a voicemail anytime you want, and we'll play that voicemail on the show if it's good. So you can always hit us up, 702-608-3259. Once again, that phone number is 702-608-3259. And you can talk to us. I'm your host, Quan59. Got my man, Death Star Dave, in the building.
Hello.
The first one here and then the last one here. How'd that happen?
It's how it works out, man. Sometimes life takes over.
Life takes turns. We got the lady of the hour, Tracy, in the building. Still no nickname, which is rare because I'm usually very quick at nicknames.
I think today's the day.
Yeah, you know what it is?
Today's
It's because
probably the
Josh is here and we're usually making fun of him, so we don't get time to mess with Tracy too much. But today the skies have opened.
The skies have opened.
Without Josh.
And she's wearing her Argentina blue today, all decked out. So she's excited about the World Cup.
Yes, I am.
Steve's very excited about the World Cup. He woke up early to watch Saudi Arabia, his home country, lose to Russia. Got Hollywood Huff in the building. What's good?
All right, first of all, how did Saudi Arabia become my home country?
I don't know, bro. You tell us.
That seems debatable.
They got whooped, but I mean, everybody saw that coming.
I didn't see any of it, so.
Oh, you didn't miss much today.
No.
Yeah,
You didn't miss much, but we are going to talk about the World Cup, and I'm gonna let Dave and Tracy take over. I don't know, Steve. Do you want to talk about World Cup?
Yeah, because I was just.
So you did some research.
I don't have. Yeah, I don't have a whole ton to contribute, but.
Big shout out to my man Gary Babby watching right now. Bro, get better. He was laying in the hospital yesterday, so I don't know if you're out yet, man. Gallbladder, gallstone, whatever it was, man. Get better. And he has a dope new song we're going to be playing on Speak Life Radio soon. So anyways, with that being said, sorry, Steve, I cut you off.
No, I don't. Yeah, I don't have much to contribute for World Cup, but I want to talk about it because
you want to start contributing.
Yeah.
I mean, we have a month of this, Steven.
Yes, we do.
We have a month. So by the end of this, hey, we weren't into hockey before, this time last year. And now, I mean, I have hockey things on my wall.
Oh, now that the games have started, trust me, by next week, I'm going to have about an hour's worth of just Steve commentary.
Oh, great. The notebook will open up.
Steve, way more black people than in the NHL. Way more.
Yeah.
I think we can start off with the news for 2026. That's kind of exciting.
Yes, let's do that. Go ahead.
Yeah.
That's good stuff. And there'll be more. So I guess they're.
Well, tell them the news, Tracy.
The news.
In case they haven't heard.
Is that Canada, the United States, and Mexico will be hosting the 2026 World Cup. And I think, so there's going to be more teams next time. So we're going from 32 to 48 at
and that's
some point.
the year they change. That's the year they change it. So that's how they're sneaking in 2 extra teams.
And that's what I was going to ask, because the host country gets an automatic bid.
Yeah.
Which U.S. needs.
Yeah, no kidding.
And so I was wondering that. I was talking to somebody last night, and we were asking that question. Like, does that mean they all get in? And so obviously,
with 48,
obviously it does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it'll be good to see like Canada get in, but I think so. Then there's 80 games, and I guess the United States gets 60.
Yeah, the United States gets 60 in all of the quarterfinals and beyond.
So Canada gets 10, Mexico gets 10, and we get 60.
Wow.
So that'll be
You know what we'll have the stadium by then. So Las Vegas will be in the running with a nice new football-sized stadium.
And we'll probably have a Super Bowl already by then. So we'll get the test out if it worked and we didn't blow up the city.
Hopefully multiple Stanley Cup trophies.
that would we can dream.
We can dream.
We can dream.
We'll have one by then. We'll have one by then.
I'm not taking it for granted. I'm not gonna throw that out there yet.
Give us some guarantees, Dave.
No. My guarantee is that I will not be guaranteeing that.
Dave Stradamus.
Listen, if we don't get any World Cup games, I will drop everything and go up to Seattle because there's not a lot of better places to watch soccer than Qualcomm.
I really think that we'll get some. I mean, we're in a newer stadium, and that's something that they've already talked about with the whole new stadium coming in. It's one of the events that they've already said if the U.S. gets it, they're already kind of in the running.
That's good.
So we'll see what they do with it.
And I think we're probably one of the few countries on this planet that don't need to build a bunch of stadiums.
It's true.
To host something like the World Cup.
And that's why it was funny to me that there were even votes from Morocco. It wasn't like a sweep of a vote. It's like and the reason they chose it is, one, the money-making possibility, and two, the fact that they don't have to build any stadiums. Have you seen this one stadium in Russia? They have a 150 feet tall grandstand. They cut out the side of the stadium. You can see from the higher levels, you can see the top of the stadium is like a ring. Oh, wow. It's like above the top. I don't even know if you can physically view the field.
Wow. And you know the funny thing when they were doing the announcement, and you have, like everyone from USA, Canada, and US on one, or Mexico on one screen, and then the next screen is like Morocco just sitting there like, and it's like, on America's Funniest Videos, they'll put all three up, and all three, who's gonna win? It's like, we know who's gonna win this.
Well, you never know with the World Cup. I mean, FIFA's the dirtiest organization on the planet. They're dirtier than like the Olympic.
I feel that, but with three countries, like
Quan, they still got 65 votes from Morocco.
That's weird.
Versus three countries, they're all, each one of them larger than Morocco.
Some of those votes were like, "What is Morocco? Sounds good to me."
Yeah, no, some of those checks cleared. I will tell you that. 65 checks cleared.
Yeah, they did.
Steve, real quick, where's Morocco?
I have no idea. It's somewhere over there.
North Africa.
It's like
the wife knows.
It's Middle East. Like when she said North Africa, that's almost perfect because on the eastern side of Africa, there's not much above the western side.
It's right next to Wakanda, so though, right?
It's right under Wakanda. You got to fly underneath another mountain.
4,000 miles north of Wakanda is Morocco.
Oh, that's not that close. 4,000 miles ain't close.
7-hour plane ride.
Isn't it on the western coast of North Africa? Am I Google?
Morocco.
Google.
Yeah, let's.
I mean, I think Miss.
Yeah. I know that's where Casablanca is.
I think Miss Huff Jr. knows.
Miss Huff Jr.
And shout out to Steve's wife in the building. She's not on camera because she didn't want to be. But she knows more. She's actually the one texting Steve the whole time on the show, like, Steve, say this. So she's actually the brain behind what Steve says.
Don't embarrass me, Steve.
Yeah.
She had to come in this time. She's like, no, Steve, this is not happening anymore.
I noticed
you're not getting punked by Quan's mom live on air.
With his wife present, no nibs though. I don't see a snack array.
It's because we just ate.
Yes.
We just went.
Wait, has that stopped you before?
He told her he hasn't had nibs in over a year. Dave, don't.
Oh, whoops. Sorry.
Don't give up his addiction.
Sorry about that.
I was correct. It is the very northwest. It's like right below Spain.
Yeah, it's one of the countries in Africa.
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna say right below Spain.
It's like it could reach out and touch Spain.
Yeah, I thought it was.
Like they could high five each other.
I thought it was over. Well, y'all can't see where I'm pointing, but I thought it was somewhere else.
I thought it was here on this flat Earth map.
Yeah. Now it's funny. I know so much about Africa. Didn't know Morocco.
Morocco's on my list. I've heard everyone I know that's gone there said it's been a wonderful time. So
most places in Africa, and I say most because there are some that are just as bad as the American media portrays them.
Growing up in U.S. watching TV, Africa is not good, especially Ethiopia.
Yeah, but there are some places that are great. That
feed the children.
There are some places that are pretty awesome, and you would go and you wouldn't, other than the fact that nobody's speaking English and everybody's black. I mean, you might just think you went to Atlanta.
I mean, there's a lot of them that speak English out there.
Yeah, exactly. I guarantee you go to Morocco, you're getting people that speak English.
No, you get a lot of people that speak English, but you also get a culture shock. Like, all right, we went to Italy, and in Rome, like everybody speaks English or a little bit of English. But then you go to Naples, which is like a 2-hour drive away. Nobody speaks English.
Yeah.
So I mean, it just depends on where you go. But yeah,
It
some
is.
countries are a little more developed than others.
Right.
Cool.
But I think the problem is most people think Africa is a country, and it's not. It's a continent.
All right, well, that is our geography from Steve Huff Jr. today. I said we didn't have a lot to talk about. I know we got more than that to talk about in sports. So we're going to go ahead and get into the World Cup. There's a big game tomorrow that I'm actually interested in watching just because it's been hyped up. But Spain and Portugal are playing. I knew that.
By the way, that's huge.
Mm-hmm.
It's a huge game, especially for a first game.
Well, and realistically, a lot of it's going to be the uncertainty coming from Spain, who was a high level team. They were actually able to integrate young players in with their older kind of high level tournament winning teams, and including some of these guys like Iniesta on their last go. But they just let their manager go a couple days ago because he took a new job that he was going to be starting after the World Cup. So one of the favorites got dealt a pretty big blow there, and them in Portugal plays them tough anyway. And Portugal just actually, for the soccer fans out there, or the non-soccer fans, just kind of miraculously won the Euros. People think, oh, Portugal must be really good because they have Cristiano Ronaldo. But really, they kind of have Cristiano Ronaldo, and that's
about it.
That's about the whole list.
I was reading an article I told Quan yesterday that said Portugal's the most boring team to watch in all the World Cup.
I'm not a Ronaldo fan, so I'm fine with that.
Along and somehow win.
Well, yeah, because eventually he gets one good look, and he doesn't mess up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it'll be interesting to see too, because I guess whoever wins that game tomorrow will, pave an easier path for themselves if they come out winning that.
But they're both moving forward.
Yeah.
I don't even taking a losing result. I think you're.
Who do they get in the first round, depending on if they win or lose? I think that's the.
Well, that's we're a little far out from that. That's a little too complicated at the beginning because we have to see who wins the group, who comes in second in all the groups. So that's a.
Oh, they'll either.
Now, how many teams did you say there are in the World Cup?
32.
32. Okay. So how many groups is that?
It's 8 groups.
Eight groups of 4. Yeah, they'll face Russia, Saudi Arabia, Egypt, or Uruguay.
Yeah, that's Uruguay's easily winning that group. Russia got a high level. The way the World Cup works, Russia gets a high level seed being the host. So you basically break it down by your world rankings, and so they kind of try to fit teams together. You get a draw, so it's all kind of luck of the draw. That's how. Although this year, I guess the Spain-Portugal group, that might be the toughest group, just because the two of them playing each other. There's no real they usually call it a group of death. I don't know who would get that label this year. I was looking at it. It's like most of the groups, it's like one or two. It's like one, maybe two teams. There's only like one group where I see a lot more teams with a possibility, but none of them are good enough to win.
Yeah, groups. Yeah, none of them seem. Argentina's in a pretty easy group. I'm not mad about that. We've got Croatia, Nigeria, and Iceland. So that should be. I think they've.
Oh yeah, they'll be fine. You got. Yeah. I love Lionel Messi. You got Messi up front with Cavani. They'll be fine. The rest of their team is a little more suspect. I don't think they're making the final again.
Group F is. Oh wait, no, I'm looking at F and G together. So never mind.
That's what I was saying. There's no every group. It's like I almost see, with very few exceptions, it seems very clear who's advancing this year. I mean, there's always going to be a miracle. Yeah. Somebody advancing further.
Who do you think? Because I have my pick.
All right, real quick, we do have a phone call all the way from the East Coast. Sarah's live on the line. What's up?
Hi, guys. How you doing?
Doing great. How are you doing?
I mean, I've missed talking to you. I've missed hearing your all's voices and everything.
It's been a while.
I know, it has. I mean, we're over here talking about soccer. How could I not?
Exactly. And
we
actually,
had to force that, by the
real
way.
quick, there might be a special guest in a month in the studio named Sarah Nichols. And she might be here live in the studio. So we might have two women in here once talking about sports. We have two women right now, but one doesn't want to talk. She's talking vicariously through Steve. Well, what's up? We're talking about your sport, and thanks for calling in because I have nothing to say.
Well, I figured that much. I mean, yeah, I'm just going to leave you alone on that one.
Thank you.
First off, I'm very bitter, obviously, because there's no United States nor Chile in the World Cup this year. So,
yeah.
pretty much hate every single South American team now just because I'm mad.
Wow.
Wow.
I hate Brazil. I mean, I have a soft spot for Messi, but I hate Neymar, so
Yeah.
I don't want Brazil to do well.
I don't hate Brazil. I just hate all the people like, oh my God, I'm a Brazil fan. I'm like, okay, name one person besides Neymar on that team, and you can't do it.
They're probably throwing out like guys like Ronaldinho that played before, if you're lucky.
Man,
You
look,
won't
and I'm
forget
still
that
bitter
face,
about
though.
4 years ago because Chile got knocked out against Brazil in PKs and put a couple up against the crossbar. So I've got
Yeah.
a lot of hatred going on. I'm not even gonna lie.
Yeah, and then Brazil took that opportunity at home and didn't exactly capitalize on it.
So who qualified
No,
instead
they did
of
not.
Chile?
Shout out to Germany. Thank you very much.
Never think
Peru.
Germany.
But
Peru, yeah, Peru. Yeah, I don't know about that.
also, we are the reigning Copa America champions, but yet not in the World Cup.
Well, that's
And beat Portugal last year in PKs.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's the fault of our soccer system and horrible coaching by Klinsmann and just problems at every level.
Well, I mean, I'm also just going to be mad at the fact that, I'm putting this on Chile, honestly, because how are you going to be the 9th-ranked team in the entire world and you're nowhere to be found in the World Tournament?
Well, yeah, that's shameful.
It really is.
But you usually get somebody like that in the European groups as well, though. There's always some high-level European team. Like this time it was Italy that didn't make it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's just unfortunate. But like you said, there's no real group of depth. Everyone has those couple teams that are like, oh man, these
Some
are going
bad
to be some
teams
great
this year.
matches.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There are some bad
Yeah,
teams.
that's
Russia's a
the
bad
thing.
team.
I'm really excited to see what Iceland does. Honestly,
That's what I was gonna say. That's my sleeper team that I would like to see get
Iceland's
through.
not bad.
it's going to be fun, and they're gonna play off the whole underdog vibe too.
Mm-hmm. Didn't they? What did they win? 2 years ago? They won some European tournament. Hold on.
They advanced far. They made it a lot further in the Euros 2 years ago than anybody was expecting. They kind of had like that Cinderella run. So Sarah, who's your pick? Who you have one or two teams that you see? I mean, above the fray.
I mean, you can't turn your back on Argentina no matter how much I hate them.
You gotta love Messi,
let me
though.
tell you this. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I do. And if Chile were in it, and if I had a second pick besides Chile, I want Argentina to go all the way. But since I'm still on the bitter bus for the rest of my life,
The bitter bus.
I don't want Argentina to do well. But I want Messi to actually finally get an international tournament under his belt because he doesn't have one.
Yeah, he got to the final the last time. That was a lot further than I expected them to make it.
Yep. And then I keep on always making the comparison. Watching Germany play is like watching the Spurs play, man. It's straight surgical. It's so technical, and they can tell you exactly what they're going to do. They're still going to beat you.
Yeah, well, I think they're frightening. They're super deep. I mean, their third string goalie is Barcelona's starter.
Oh man.
So
Does their best player want to be traded to the Lakers too, or no?
No, their best player does not want to be traded to the Lakers.
It's going to be good, but I mean, you can't. I'm going to go with Argentina. Ugh, as much as I hate saying that.
I love it.
Wow, that's actually a pretty deep call because outside of their attackers, there's not a lot there.
No, we've got our defense.
No,
is
but at
old,
the same time, from a defensive standpoint, there's not too many teams in this tournament that are like, man, your back four is solid.
Right.
It's just not. It's not a defensive tournament. It really isn't. I'm not saying that Saudi Arabia has much of anything, nor Russia. They put 5 up on them today.
Yeah.
Well, Saudi Arabia is the worst team in the tournament. I think that
But,
was
those,
already thought.
Yeah, and those goals were quality goals too. So it's not like it was just a stupid toe poke.
Sorry, Steve.
You had him put him in upper 90.
Hey, real quick, why did Spain fire their coach 2 days ago?
They're mad about that Real Madrid hire. It seems like. I guess they thought he wasn't going to be focused enough, which is crazy to do it
crazy,
3 days before the World Cup.
Emotional decision.
Well, and also I'm sure this played a little bit part into it. Who's Real Madrid's number 1 player?
Well, that's true.
Who? Tell me.
And
I
who are
don't
you
know.
playing? Cristiano Ronaldo.
Oh, yeah.
Cristiano Ronaldo.
If he
My
stays,
favorite player, I guess.
And who are you playing tomorrow?
Yeah, but that's the thing is if he stays.
Yeah.
Because Cristiano Ronaldo,
Well,
you might be doing all this for Cristiano Ronaldo, who might push his way out of Real Madrid anyway. I don't
the
think he's
thing of it
happy
is,
with
it's just
the
like,
with the decisions that they're making right now.
well, they're in like pure like how corrupt soccer is in general. No matter, it could be, you know, World Cup, it could be club, like it's all just dirty.
That is true.
By
It's,
far the most
you know, it's really
political
crazy.
sport on the face of the planet.
It's really crazy because as much as people like during the playoffs of any sport, football, basketball, whatever, you hear everybody saying, "Oh, the game is rigged. This is ridiculous." But soccer is the game that really is rigged. Like it really is dirty all year round,
100%.
every league. Like the refs, like, okay, our referees in any sport, basketball, football, they have to answer to somebody. The refs at the World Cup answer to nobody. They can make any dirty play, any dirty call. They can red card anybody for whatever
Steve,
reason.
They answer to somebody. It's the person that's
well,
that's
yeah, the
paying
person
them
who
to
cut
their
that
family.
check. You know what I mean? But that's what I'm saying is,
Like-
is it literally is the dirtiest sport, or
Well,
as far as
most
corruption.
corrupt,
Yeah.
without a doubt.
There are a bunch of like obviously stupid calls made, but do you know how many the ratio to how many NFL refs have their lives threatened versus how many FIFA refs have their lives threatened?
Right,
that's
And
exactly,
actually
yeah.
taken care of?
Right.
Like, for real, refs have died.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Players
we
have
know.
died.
Oh yeah.
Oh no, I would be doing the same thing. It's like we have your family, and
Oh yeah.
and you're gonna call this a particular way. It's like hey, you're right. I will be calling it that way.
That's right.
100%.
I will call
Well,
it
and
whatever way
now
you
it's going to
want.
be very interesting now that they have VAR for the first World Cup too. So that's going to be. I want to see the first like dramatic call when it comes to replay.
Yeah, that's not going to go over very well because then that's
No.
gonna maybe undo some bad ref influences because every World Cup has
Yep.
at least one knockout match that comes down to a horrible call. I mean, there's always somebody moving on that shouldn't, and that might stop it.
Yeah.
And that's going to be a real interesting thing to see. You might be seeing some officials that's the last time you see them again.
Yep. Literally. R.I.P.
Wow.
Rest in the most peace.
So a profession you might not want
Yeah.
is a soccer ref.
Oh, no, 100%. You
Oh,
do not
yeah.
want that.
Not at all.
Not at all.
Yeah.
I mean, local, maybe
I mean,
here in
and-
America, it's great, but international, nah.
Yeah,
no.
you ain't making any money doing it here in America.
Even-
But even out
local
here, like you know,
with
you have to start
parents, no.
on the lower level of like, you know, 8-year-old girls,
Yeah.
Well,
and you see those soccer
Man.
moms.
Let me
They'll
tell
run
you.
you over in Summerlin, Steven.
these listen,
Look,
but I can
you don't
dodge a
wanna be
couple
the ref
soccer
of one of my
moms. You know what I'm saying? I can't dodge the mafia though.
Steve, you think you can? You think you can?
You are underestimating soccer moms, Steve.
I had a kid play one season of soccer, and man, I really, I'm a pretty calm person overall, and I almost lost it on a few parents. I came a little close. Sometimes I had to go talk to one guy for standing way too close to the goal. I had to go have a conversation. All
I mean,
true.
I've gotten yellow carded as a coach. I mean, I've gotten yellow carded and red carded as a player. I've gotten red carded in my stupid little Sunday co-ed games. You know, like I'm gonna let you know if you're not doing well.
Wow.
I'm gonna let you know.
Soccer people are crazy, Steve.
Yeah,
It's a different level.
I think
Hey,
it's crazier than you
This is
think.
how we roll.
I'm well aware. However, I mean, a soccer mom running me over or attempting to run me over in a
True.
parking lot is different than, you know, somebody giving me a call before the game like, look, we got your wife and kids right now.
But Steve, here's the
you know what I'm
difference.
saying?
The mafia guy, they might be able to be reasoned with. Those soccer moms, not so
No,
much. There's no
there's
reason
no
involved,
turning
man.
back.
And you know what's coming with the mafia. You don't know what's coming
Yeah.
with the soccer mom.
Like you might be able to
Right.
work out an arrangement with them with that soccer mom. If she's running you down, I mean, she will run over her own
Yeah.
kids to get you.
You think she's just trying to give you an orange slice, but
Yeah.
no.
Don't
Or
eat the
Capri
nibs
Sun.
they give you, Steve.
Arsenic laced orange slices.
Ooh,
Those nibs are tainted.
Giving people ideas.
it's bad
But,
stuff
yo,
out there, man.
I'm excited to actually hear about soccer on the Unnamed Sports Show.
Woohoo.
So I appreciate it.
And Sarah, we're taking a poll. Do you like the name Unnamed Sports Show? Because I think we have to come up with a name due to
No, why?
people are tripping. Dave's one of them. Dave's one of them.
I would like to have a name, and you know,
Dave wants a name.
I
And
kinda
it's
I'm
been
on
a
the
year.
name
I'm gonna be
bandwagon.
honest. I thought that was the name.
It
I
is a
thought
name, and
I
then everyone's like,
appreciate-
"It's time for you to have a name," and yeah. But we'll
Yeah.
see. I
Look,
mean,
unless that,
I'm glad people are telling me this before I made T-shirts and mugs. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, let me know when you
Bumper
make t-shirts.
stickers.
Okay.
I have a t-shirt guy.
Oh, cool. I got a couple too, but we'll use your guy. And real quick, tell us when you're going to be out here because you're going to be on the show, and then tell us about your podcast
Yeah.
real quick. And do
Oh,
you have
wow,
an
look at
edited
that.
version of your podcast, or is it only one?
No,
Okay.
there's not an edited version. I apologize.
So they're not like
That's
Unnamed
how
Sports Show
we
where
talk.
we have a curse jar. They don't have a curse jar.
Ooh, so
We
Sarah, can
have-
I call into
no,
your show?
We do not. Oh my
Really,
well, okay.
really
so
open it
once
up.
we evolve to the point of getting callers, yes, you absolutely can.
I love
That'd
it.
be great.
I need to
but
let
no,
a little
I'll
loose.
be, yeah, I'll be out there July 12th through the 15th, causing all kinds of mayhem like us out of towners normally do.
Wow, it's so you're coming right at the very end of the World Cup.
She'll be here for
Yeah,
the
so
championship.
I'm actually gonna.
That'll be fun.
No, I'll be in Salt Lake for the championship.
Blah, 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 blah. Okay.
So
So when you come to the show, I know you're flying in that day. Are you going to be
Yeah.
sober on Unnamed Sports Show?
I'll be sober enough.
There you go.
That's
That's
all
the
right.
best
Good
answer.
answer. That's a good
Best
answer.
answer.
All right.
That's how
I'll
I
be
live my
sober
life.
enough.
Sober enough.
I love
Yeah.
it.
All right, tell us about the podcast real quick. Where can they get it?
So it's called The Beautiful Trainwreck. You can find us on iTunes, Google Play, iHeartRadio, and also on Spreaker, which apparently you can get through iPod or Podcast Addict. So that's the thing.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
So yeah,
So listen.
do it.
We
And
appreciate it.
no problem. Beautiful Trainwreck.
Yep.
Get the podcast. New episodes every week. Yeah, cool. Well, thanks for calling in, and we'll be
Of
talking about
course.
soccer for a month. I don't know what I'm gonna do.
You're going to
so
get really
excited.
into soccer.
I am.
You just have to commit fully.
I'm trying.
You have to do research. That's all.
Right.
Well, and I told you last night, I'm gonna psych myself out to really enjoy this.
Yeah.
And just
No,
act,
you can
act
do it. I
hype,
believe
and then
in you.
maybe I'll just like become hype.
Right. Come meet me somewhere 6 a.m. Saturday. We'll watch Argentina.
6 a.m. Oh,
Yeah.
I'll still be awake.
Yeah.
You got to go to like
Yeah,
Crown and
I
Anchor
mean,
yeah.
where they care.
Yeah. It's more
gonna be
fun
awesome.
in those environments.
Yeah.
It really is.
Go watch an
I
England
believe that you
game
will
there.
win.
Yeah. You just pick like if the United
It'll be
States
awesome.
isn't in it, you don't have loyalty to any. Just be like, you know what? I'm
That's
going
smart.
all in for France for no reason at all. Let's just see what happens.
I mean,
Not
and
France.
like I said, not France. And like I said, I'm wearing hockey gear. I would have never thought a year ago today that a year from now or from then I'd be wearing hockey gear. So who knows? Maybe next week I'll be wearing a soccer jersey. You know?
You never know.
But
You never
Quan,
know.
your Facebook proof to Josh lately has said you were such a big hockey fan recently. Well, you're telling me lies one way or the other.
2014. 2014. All right, Sarah. Thanks for calling in.
Bye, Sarah.
Of course, guys. I'll talk to you later.
All right.
Peace. So, if you want to call in, hit us up 702-608-3259. Once again, that phone number is 702-608-3259. If you're listening to the podcast, we're not live, so you can still leave us a voicemail, so go ahead and do that. And Desiree, Philadelphia does not have a team in the World Cup.
No.
So, you
Nope,
get
and they're
after it.
not even in a country that has a team in the World Cup.
No.
Yeah.
Shameful.
Disappointing.
And they're not even in a country that likes them.
It's also true.
Ugh.
Sorry. Sorry, that was a Philly shot. Sorry about that. Oh, and we forgot to congratulate Sarah on her soccer team. Hockey team that won the Stanley Cup.
Did we forget, or did
No.
we just
No.
not want to?
I thought
We
about
don't
it
need
3
to.
times, and I didn't want her to stay on the phone 5 more minutes gloating about that. But anyways, back to the World Cup. Who do I got? No, I'll wait till tomorrow to pick a team.
Wow.
I got to watch some games first. I have no idea.
I
Well,
mean,
it's gonna take a while to see all the teams. It takes like a week.
I'm not gonna
who's
watch every
favored
team.
to go? Germany.
I'm gonna watch
Brazil?
highlights.
Germany and Brazil
think-
are
yeah.
Brazil is the favorite. Germany is right there.
And
Spain
see, I was going for
is
Brazil.
fluctuating.
Don't you dare.
Oh, I would not want to see Brazil win. I don't know.
No.
I don't want to see Neymar with a World Cup, and he might fall holding that thing up.
All right, and we actually have a soccer expert calling right now. We got the soccer expert live on the air. What's good? What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hello, my name is Terrence Walton. I'm calling from Las Vegas. Long time listener.
Hello, Terrence Walton. So I know you know a lot
What's
about
up,
soccer,
man?
bro.
Hey, look, I'm not a fan of soccer, or at least I wasn't a fan of soccer. I caught a Manchester United game, and I ain't gonna lie, man. I that game was exciting, and I kind of became a fan after watching Manchester United, and I like the feel of the World Cup. You know, I kind of like that feel. So I'm not a big soccer fan, but I get up for the World Cup and Manchester United.
Okay, so you're going to be watching it tomorrow, right?
So you've got
Yeah, I'm
players
gonna tune
spread
in. At
all
least I'm
over.
gonna keep track of the scores.
Okay. Now, can you sit there and watch a full
Yeah.
game? Like, are you that dedicated to World Cup where you can watch a full game?
9 to 5, I work for an NBC affiliate out here in Las Vegas. And we got to run Premier Soccer games on Saturday. So
Right.
when I used to work on Saturdays, I had no choice but to sit and watch full games of soccer. And that's when I became a fan of Manchester United because most of the games suck incredibly bad.
You must
but
not have been watching
Manchester-
Liverpool games.
See, I don't think I ever saw a Liverpool game. Most of the games we covered for Premier Soccer, they were boring to me. They sucked. But Manchester, that game was exciting. So after that, I'm like, okay, there's hope for soccer. I guess it's all about who plays, you know. And if you know the backstory behind the teams, like the history, it makes it a little bit more exciting, you know.
Well, and I think also like this is
But-
what they all play for. So you get to see that it's not lackadaisical. It's not like just a regular.
I'm having trouble hearing you.
This is like what they all want to win as part of their career. So you don't see you see them putting out maximum effort for the next month. So that also I think makes it more exciting when you see viewership go up during the World Cup. Just a regular like especially like an MLS soccer game. No, I don't want to.
And I think that can go for any sport. If you don't know about it and if it's not good quality, you could watch a ABA basketball game down at Tarkanian, and you're gonna be like, if that's the only basketball you watch, you can be like, oh, basketball is not really a good sport.
Right.
But then if you watch the Lakers next year with Paul George and LeBron James, you're gonna be like, wow, this is ultimate basketball right here.
I'm leaving.
But
I'm leaving.
but I will say this though. I will say this about and sometimes it's about the drama. It's about the storyline. That's why you're a big hockey fan now because you got caught up in the drama of it. So I've been to some AAU games. I've been to some games with seventh graders where there was so much drama in that game, and I knew what was going on, that it was just exciting to be in that environment because of the drama. So I think if when it comes to the World Cup, if you know the storylines, if you know the players, if you know what it means to win, like how long it's been and so much so forth, swept away and the drama of it.
Now, how much drama is in seventh grade basketball, though? Is it like number 32 stole number 3's girlfriend at the lunch line?
No, look, man. I heard you talking about the soccer moms. Hey, in seventh grade basketball, there's some drama. I've been to some games where the whole gym almost broke out into a fight. You know, just because at the end of the day, as parents, you care about your kids and everything like that. So everybody's invested in their their teams at these little AAU games and so much and so forth. So when they're close, they're close. They're heated.
So pretty much the drama is from the parents, though. It's not really like in-game drama. It's not like Shaq and Kobe. It's like Karen and Rachel.
Why you put it on moms?
Man,
he brought up soccer moms.
Go to Tarkanian and watch some of those games, man.
Karen used to be a guy.
Okay.
So I was.
You see videos of crazy.
Her name was
crazy
Kurt.
Parents.
Yes, there are crazy parents, but I can say from my own personal experience, rec league basketball growing up, we had the best team in our league. We're playing in the playoffs. Magically, for some reason, like the regular scoreboard operators, there was nobody to run the scoreboard. So who's running the scoreboard that game?
Moms.
One of the dudes on the other team's mother. I'm sitting there in the middle of the game saying, we just scored. You put points right there. And the ref's like, what were we going to do?
Wow.
And we still somehow only barely lost. And that's with us. We probably won by like 30. It was ridiculous.
Going back to the drama comment, there's that's really true about the World Cup, the point that he's making about the World Cup. It reminds me like way back in the day in college, I'm such a nerd. I read this book and it's called How Soccer Explains the World, and it talks about how...
I read that.
Yeah.
No, I didn't.
I was like, really? It's really good.
It's like, let's talk about it.
No,
Book club.
It talks about
Unnamed book club.
how countries like they brought up like Serbia and Croatia playing each other, like how the rivalry between that soccer team has nothing to do with the soccer players. It has nothing to do with the drama between the players. It has to do with the history of those two countries. You see the same thing with like Argentina when they play England, and they go back to like, why do these two teams hate each other? It's so deeply rooted in like the geopolitics between the countries that it takes the World Cup to this next level of everything. Like Sarah was saying, like it's not just Chile that she loves, but it's all these other South American
Yeah.
teams. There's rivalries that extend from World Cup to World Cup to World
Yeah.
Cup, and it has nothing to do. Like the players can turn over as many times as they want. It has nothing to do with it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's good.
Now, what I think would make soccer a little bit more exciting if they made the field a little bit smaller. Because when you're watching, the field is so big, so these guys are running, but they look like they're not going anywhere. You know, it takes them forever to get to each end of the field, in my opinion, when you're watching it on TV.
That happens every time I run.
Smaller field.
That's how I
Go
feel about
nowhere.
my life.
Yeah.
I keep running and go nowhere.
Yeah, that's a difference between.
That's me going from 21 to 41.
But that's when you look at like it. I get what you're saying. How the field does seem like it's way too big. If you go watch, even out here locally, you go watch some of these arena league games, and they have half the players, and the field is very small. It's like the size of a basketball court, like a high school basketball court. And those games are very exciting because there's a lot of shots on at the goal. The players are just moving faster. You know, a guy can literally kick it from goal to goal, and it takes less than a second, you know, to get down to the other end. So those games are very exciting. But when you look at it on this scale, where these guys have been playing soccer their whole life, their endurance is so high. Part of the competitiveness is they're out there running for 90 minutes, running, jumping, and kicking.
Yeah.
And with that,
Top athletes.
right. So with that, if you put those guys in like a smaller arena where the goal, even with the goal being smaller, I mean, the scores for us Americans, the score would be like 20-25, and we love that game. But at the same time, that's not the way that the game is supposed to be played. So it would change. You know what I mean? It would change so much of the game that it would, in a sense, kind of take away the excitement of it. Because a lot of the excitement we feel now is when you almost score, because they have to work so hard to score. When a team goes up, 1-0 and it's 5 minutes left, it's like, oh man, this is the game. You know what I mean? Like that's it. So I get what you're saying. Like as an American, you want to see more shots on goal, you want to see people scoring, but that's part of the excitement of the international soccer. Go ahead.
It's the gratification, but I think other countries, I feel like they like to let things cook a little bit. So to them, it's about the anticipation of the goal, where we want to see constant action. We like basketball. We like points exciting to. Whereas in other countries, I feel like they're cool with going 60 minutes happens, and they celebrate.
Yeah.
But we like our stuff a little bit quicker, in my opinion, in America.
Yeah, we're fast food nation, man. We created we're the reason McDonald's is all over the world.
All right, T. Hey, man, thanks for calling in, dude. And check out Simply T every Friday on 88.1. What time is that? 5 o'clock? 8 o'clock? 6 o'clock?
6 or 10 p.m., man.
6 to 10. I listen every week. I listen every week from 6 to 10. All right, bro. Thanks for calling in, dude. Oh, real quick. Where's LeBron going?
All right. My heart, I'm a Philly fan. But my money, if I had to bet, I would have to either bet on the Lakers or the Rockets.
All right. So you would want him as a Philly fan, because we had Philly fans the other day going crazy saying they didn't need LeBron James on Philly.
Now, at first, before the playoffs, I said, I'm like, now LeBron might mess with the chemistry. These guys are kind of clicking. They're kind of finding their roles. But what we saw in the playoffs, we saw kind of like a breakdown. They didn't have opinion.
Yeah.
So they definitely need a vet. Somebody that when it gets kind of tough, when it gets a little chaotic in those high-pressure situations, there's going to be a coach on the court. And there's no better in my games right now in the game. So is anybody that will be able to get them kind of in position to win those type of games? Because I feel like they got the talent, and people kind of try to say they don't have the shooters, but their shooting is what got them as deep as they did in the playoffs, from Barinelli, J.J. Redick, Ilyasova, and Dario. And I think they'll be able to keep some of those guys. You know what I mean? They'll be able to get shots up. And Markelle Fultz, consistent shooter from a wise or whatever.
You're starting to cut out, and you're going way too deep. But you're starting to cut out. But appreciate it, bro.
I'm passionate.
I
I'm
could tell.
passionate. I gotta take it easy.
All right, bro. He gave us
I
a whole
thought it wasn't-
background on Philly.
I thought it was just me that he was cutting out on.
No, he was
No,
cutting out.
it's-
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
it's 'cause
I think he was driving through a tunnel.
That's a long tunnel.
Yeah. So let's wrap up World Cup soccer real quick.
I have a question, and this is, I mean, for someone who watches soccer, I've just never seen it, but it okay, so is there like, I've never seen anybody get carded for embellishment.
Oh
that
yeah,
a-
no, it definitely happens. You
Okay,
can
I just haven't.
get carded
seen
for
it.
diving. Oh yeah, no, it's rare. I mean, you really have to do it because it's such an ingrained part of the game that it became a part of basketball.
Yeah.
That's how
Yeah.
big it was. But no, you can absolutely get carded for it.
Okay.
It's
'Cause
just
I'm like, I
especially
see it
in the World Cup,
happen a lot.
you won't see it in the World Cup
No.
because in the World Cup, guys really go for the dives. Like if you watch Premier League, they're not diving like this.
Right.
The World Cup that's the one part about it where it's the worst is the diving is unbelievable.
It's such a part of the game that they literally practice it. It is
Of
just,
course.
I mean, just like you practice shooting drills, passing drills, they practice diving drills. Like seriously. So we hate to see flopping on any level,
Right.
but in soccer, it's a part. It literally can change the game. You don't have a lot of substitutions. You
Mhm.
only get like 3 or 4. I think it's 3 in the World Cup per game.
Yeah, it's 3 in a game.
So yeah, so if a guy comes out, he probably ain't coming back in,
But you
right?
can't.
So you get a guy in trouble. You know what I mean? Or you get a guy with a yellow card. And in the way like the yellow cards and the red cards work, sometimes those carry over to other games.
Well, the yellow
can
cards you get an accumulation, you get enough of them, you are out another
Right.
game. So
So with those things happening, you start to understand, even if your team is losing, and you just think, oh, okay, I need you to go in there and flop because Messi ain't playing in their next game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It becomes a strategy to you beat us, but we're still going to beat you, just not this game. You know,
Right.
it's tough. I mean,
Yeah, I was curious when we were watching hockey. I was like, how come I never see that embellishment call when I watch soccer? I just haven't seen it then.
you do,
Yeah.
but like I said, it's rare.
Yeah.
You're not going to see it all the time. It's always controversial when it happens
hmm
because you're like, wow, it's pretty surprising that got it, but
right.
other
nothing
3
ones
other
didn't.
else
calls
does, yeah.
didn't get it.
Right.
But it's very it's not widely used.
Yeah.
All right, we've officially talked about soccer more on this show than in the whole history of Unnamed Sports Show and Poor Sports Show combined
Probably.
in this 50
World Cup's
minutes.
important, man.
It
World
is.
Cup's important.
It is. It's a good time.
Yeah.
It is. I agree. It's very important. And USA didn't get in.
No.
That's
Yeah.
how important it was to us.
Well,
I think the announcement coming can only help USA viewership.
I mean, that's the only thing that could help,
Yeah,
honestly.
it's literally the only thing.
we really need to. I feel like we got 10 years to fix our soccer, and they need to start firing people.
10.
right
no, we
now.
got we no
I
we,
mean,
we have
like-
we have right
I mean,
now
like,
it needs to start
yeah,
getting fixed.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like right now,
We got 8
yesterday,
years for the World Cup, so
they
I
need to
think
start. Yeah,
We need to look better before that.
Oh no.
of course, yeah.
100%. No.
The song that always gets us flagged on YouTube, but it's time for NBA right here on Unnamed Sports Show. And once again, man, let us know. Do you like the name Unnamed Sports Show, or should we change it? We're gonna have a poll on social media this week, and Tuesday we might announce that we're changing the name, but we won't announce the name change yet. Deal? Deal. All right. NBA, we have free agency. We have the draft.
Ooh.
We have a lot going on. We have NBA awards coming up.
Yes.
When is that? It's like in a week, right?
Yeah, it's right around the same time because the draft's in a week.
The draft's in a week from today, right?
A week from today. 21st.
Wow. So we will be having a draft show next week, next Thursday. And I think we did this last year. We watched like the first 5 picks on the show.
I wasn't there for that.
You weren't?
Mm-mm.
I think
I
we
would have
remembered
remembered
first. Yeah.
Probably.
I
I never get anything fun.
never get the fun things.
I love the draft so much. I have so much to say. And now I just know it's going to get bumped to next week.
And we're going to talk about some of it today, too, because one of the big things, Michael Porter Jr., who had an injured back in college, had surgery on his back, played, 4 3 games, something like that.
I'm by the way, I'm still uncertain about the level of surgery.
And Dave even mentioned that, and that's something I'm kind of following too. Was that a real crazy back injury and surgery that he had, or was he one of those players that didn't want to play in college, forced to go to college and play, or play in the D League or G League or overseas, but still wanted to keep his name out here in the U.S. market? But now he sat out with a hip injury. And sometimes when you do have an injury, you're using other muscles a little more. You're doing stuff like that that can cause other injuries to happen. Is this going to affect his draft stock? And first of all, I've heard anywhere between 6 and 9, where 1,000% to me is way too low. I think he's top 3 by far. I don't know if he'll go top 3, but I think when we look at this in 5 years, he's going to be a top 3 player in this draft.
I'm not sure that's true. There's a lot of flaws in his game. He was super high ranked coming out of high school, but he's definitely got some issues. Not that he doesn't have a lot of upside, but he can't shoot. Some of his handle issues are questionable. So it's.
But with the players these days, Dave, don't you think everyone's coming in with issues because they're all like 18 and 19?
Most of the time, yes. I mean, you got a guy like Marvin Bagley is definitely the most ready right now. I think I don't think he's going to be the best player out of this draft, but he'll have an immediate impact for his team next year. He can play basketball at that level, but he doesn't have the same ceiling. I mean, maybe Doncic as well, depending on what you think of EuroLeague players. But I don't know. I have a lot of question marks about Porter. I mean, you could see him go like Sacramento could fall in love. Who knows what Sacramento is going to do?
And Sacramento is saying they're falling in love, but this is the time of the draft, like a week before.
Of course,
you're hearing so many things because people want you not to take that player, or they want you to jump up and be like, why is a number 2 so high on this player? We better jump up and trade and get him. So there's a lot of rumors you're going to be hearing the next week.
But if it was another team, I'd agree with that more. But Sacramento, I don't think is smart enough to play people. Their draft history says that. Like when they took Papagiannis, who's out of the league just a few years ago, like as a lottery pick. And everybody was scratching their heads at the time.
So you're saying Vlade is flopping in the front office?
Yes. Vlade is a terrible executive. Vivek wants to be good, but he's a terrible hands-on owner. Vlade is terrible in the front office. It's just a fact. And I just don't see, like I said, I think that whole thing with, I never believed it, but the whole thing with the rumors of Doncic going back to the EuroLeague, I thought that was just because he was worried that Sacramento was going to take him.
Could have been. Could have been too, but now have you seen Mo Bamba? Because I mean, he's out here shooting threes now. He's doing some crazy stuff.
I
but I mean, we're seeing like little clips too. You know what I'm saying? He could have taken 600 threes to make those 8 in a row.
Yeah, but now that you bring it up, Bamba did not look impressive at Texas to me at all. He looked very overmatched. The one thing where I thought he was going to be a bust, the one thing where I might be wrong, is he has really completely changed his shooting mechanics.
Mm-hmm.
And the
quick
fact
too. I mean,
that's the thing is we're talking like he's only been changing it
months.
for like a few, not even months. He's very far ahead of the curve. He's got super long arms and he's very athletic. I'm not ready to come off that I'm not high on him yet, but I'm starting to have a feeling that I'm going to be very wrong on Mo Bamba once I started seeing his new shooting form.
But I think you were right, because I felt the same way coming out of college and watching him play in the tournament. And, you know, he didn't impress me much.
He looked lost all season. I mean, he'd have a few good stat lines, but then you look at it, it's like he also had other big guys on Texas, and they were playing against teams that just couldn't deal with his size at all. I mean, he was getting blocks because his arms are so long. It's not because he's in good defensive position.
Yeah.
But I think I'm going to be wrong on him. Yeah. I really do. But
and you're a Bamba fan over there, right?
Of course I am.
Longhorns.
Always.
Steve,
But
you've been paying attention? Oh, go ahead, Trey.
But I agree with you. Just watching him play.
Yeah.
You know, because Duke and Texas were the only games I would watch until the tournament started, and that's how Texas always feels to me, though. Is like some weeks I'm like, oh, we look great.
Yeah.
And then other weeks I'm like, wait a second.
It's because there's always good
team?
recruits there. There's always good athletes there. But even since they brought Shaka Smart in, it's like, well, I remember Rick Barnes with Kevin Durant. That was coaching malpractice.
Yeah.
The fact that you couldn't go far with Kevin Durant, and then DJ Augustine, who won College Player of the Year the next year. You had the back-to-back Players of the Year,
We had a
and
horrible
you couldn't.
coach back then.
Rick Barnes was
was
the
terrible.
was and remains the worst.
I love Shaka Smart though. I know that we haven't done much.
I think Shaka.
You
Smart,
love the mystique of Shaka
yeah,
Smart, though.
I think that's it. He's passionate.
He is.
He's hype.
He is, and I saw him coach in person at the tournament when he was VCU's coach, and it's hard not to.
Oh, you believe in him, but then
Yeah.
I'm watching these games, and I kept thinking, it's like, I remember when he had that havoc defense at VCU, and I was like, man, if he had like a big school's athletes to run this, that could be problems. And now he does have a big school's athletes that is definitely has the pocketbook to keep people in good conditions, and he's not succeeding
Can't
with them
get
at all.
Can't get it done.
Sometimes it's a connect there when you're very passionate about coaching or about the sport, and then you have players. If you're more passionate than your players, you'll have a disconnect where you can't really communicate with them to get that passion in themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So you'll always be at the top because you're a good coach. You telling them the right things to do, but you can't translate that next level thing to get those players to perform. And even I find it in myself coaching young kids in AAU, where there are some of them where I can just be like, man, go get the ball. I'm just like, yelling and it instantly they're like, oh, and then they do it. You know what I mean? Then there are some kids you yell at them and you're passionate. Yeah. And it's just like, and in their mind, I was trying to get the ball. I can't. And then all of a sudden it goes backwards, So,
Right.
And there's a big generational gap even between, late 20s and late teens, to where the way we communicate and the way we understand communication.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're looking at a lot of these college players who are in their late teens, early 20s, and they're being coached by 30, 40-year-olds, you really got to know how to communicate with each of them individually, because
Mm-hmm.
go get the ball doesn't necessarily work. You got to tell them how to get the ball, why they got to get the ball. You know what I mean? Like there's a big, a huge thing in how we coach players back in the day to how we coach them now.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's what I was going to say, because back in the day, you didn't have to tell us why you did something.
Right, exactly. It was
you got
yeah.
told to do something and you did it.
Yeah, it was today in practice, we're running 5 miles. And players were like, oh, that sucks, but okay, we're running 5 miles. Now, if you're like, we're running 5 miles, why? Why we got to run 5 miles? Did we do something wrong? What's the point of running 5 miles? What are we, it's a generational thing, I think, with just so much information out and social media, and we so many different reasons, but you got to find a way as a coach, no matter what, to connect with those kids
Mm-hmm.
and get them over that gap. And I think that's what separates, I think the good coaches and the great coaches, or the good coaches and the ones that actually win championships and go deep into
Like Shaka
big
Smart
tournaments.
versus Krzyzewski, who's gone
Right.
through generations
Exactly.
and seen those generational differences.
and that's a huge thing, because Coach K he's there every single year,
Mhm.
whether he wins it or not. It's not a question. Doesn't matter how young his kids are, how old his kids are. They're going to be there. They're going to the Elite 8 every year. I mean, it's when is the last time they haven't been top 8?
It happens a
been-
lot.
It's been recent.
when
but
Lehigh
It-
beat
it's
them.
like
but
it's
it-
like
it-
no, Coach K. It's like every 2 or 3 years they lose in the first or second round.
And then they go, but then the next year they're
Then
there
next year
again.
they're good,
You know what
but,
I mean?
but
So
still,
it's-
they go out early a lot.
I think you're going to start seeing some changes, because I think this will probably be their last #1 recruiting class for a while. I think
Mhm.
Jeff Capel was out there with those with the bags of cash. And now those
Yeah.
bags of cash are with him at Pittsburgh. I mean, it won't be the same amount of money as Duke money, but
Yeah.
but I also think that Krzyzewski was a worse coach with better players,
You
because
could,
he used to have more players that were staying. I mean, you had
Right.
anomalies. I mean, the first guy, it took years to really have the first guys to really leave early
Mhm.
from his teams. Corey Maggette was like the first guy to leave after his freshman year, but they didn't really used to have that. Now you have they had guys going there. They turned themselves into Kentucky,
Yeah.
which I mean, you're gonna have mixed results. You'll always out talent other teams. I mean, Kentucky had more
Right.
talent than most teams this year. You'll see it in the draft. They'll have a bunch of guys in the first round, but you'll remember from watching them, it's like, how good was this guy? Was this guy that?
Right,
Well, plus
yeah.
they're so young too. Like Kevin Knox, I think Kevin Knox is a good player who will probably go a little too late, but he was 18 years old. Like he's just barely turning 19. I think it's.
I think a part of that
Youth.
though is that's the other side of coaching, that mental part of coaching, where we look at these players and we go, man, he's got some really talented kids. Well, how much of that is just their natural talent versus what he's going over with them in practice? You know what I mean? Like how he's working with them individually to make them great players. I mean, we look at like a lot of the outside influences of a coach coaching certain players, but when you look at these guys on the Celtics and the way that they actually put up numbers in the playoffs, you put half of those players on another team, they're not going to perform like that. They're not playing that well. Part of it is the team environment, of course.
You still have to have
Part
good
of them
players
are
to be able to coach good. You have to have
of
players
course.
that are going to feed into what the coach says. So I mean, I think you put Tatum on any team. Maybe his numbers aren't as high because maybe another coach isn't giving him the same opportunities, but he's still balling on any other team.
Well,
I mean,
if he
no
was
doubt.
on Philly would have been in the Eastern Conference Finals.
It's no doubt that he's
Of
still
course.
balling, but
It's not
but
Fultz.
but the difference is 5 or 6 points. The difference is 3 or 4 rebounds. The difference is a
It
steal
could
or a
be.
block.
I mean,
or
You
that's
don't
what I think
necessarily
is,
know that.
you know-
I mean, with a lot of coaching even in the NBA, we know Greg Popovich is a great coach. We
Right.
know Phil Jackson has done great things as a coach. He's also coached great, amazing players. Brad Stevens has he got lucky by having Danny Ainge there? Was Brad Stevens going to be good if he was the coach of the Sacramento Kings that couldn't keep players? And is he gonna coach like
They'd be better.
a little bit,
I'm
but is it something where he's really? I mean, you have to have so much to build a team. So I can't say that Brad Stevens is the reason why all these players are playing as great as they are.
No,
I think it's a little. You have to give him credit. Every single year he's been a head coach, his team has done better than the previous year.
He maximizes.
He
the
does.
talent
Right,
has
and
the
that's
talent
the-
has to be there.
But
But
he
I mean, if you look at it, this team very well could have been in the finals.
Yes.
Yeah.
Should have been.
With the injuries that they had, they don't belong being that good. The two players that you were supposed to lean on the whole year combined for 60 games, and all 60 of those were Kyrie.
Right.
Yeah.
And
We
Kyrie
got
was
5
hurt.
minutes out of Gordon Hayward.
Yeah, 5 minutes. That was unfortunate. But also the flip side to that was that only 5 minutes of Gordon Hayward drastically sped up the development of Jason Tatum, because Jason
Right.
Tatum is not getting those minutes with Gordon Hayward there.
Right.
Jason Tatum is coming off the bench.
Jalen
Right.
Brown too. I mean, I know Jalen Brown would have been
Yeah, he would've
starting,
been playing.
but I think it
He wouldn't get
develops
the
all of them.
offensive opportunities.
Right.
He'd be just out there like, hey, go lock somebody up, and that's that.
Right.
But I think that's so. Some of it is great coaching and maximizing. Some of it's talent. And some of it's luck.
Yeah.
Right.
You
But
know, you have to have a luck for where you fall in the lottery.
And in the college game,
Very
you
true.
don't really know. You're getting these guys from high school. You don't really know their work ethic. You know, you could see a little bit. You can ask their coaches and stuff like that. But once you get into college, you know, a lot of people change from high school to college. They change the way they think and the way they feel. And so you don't really know what you're getting. And then going into the NBA, usually a year or 2 years after you were in college, you know, you just don't know how people are going to react. Now they get money.
Well, plus you get all the Duke guys that lately that are success stories, but a lot of times lately there's a lot of Duke transfers out there at other schools. There's the kid Jeter who went to school out here. He couldn't get minutes at Duke.
Yeah.
He had to transfer. They have transfers every year now, because while they're bringing in these big recruiting classes, not everybody's going to see the floor.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, so you find out with some of these guys. Kentucky's had the same things where there's a lot of times where you bring in these guys and they're super high level recruits. When you had the great John Wall, Bledsoe, Cousins class there, they also had Daniel Orton, who somehow still got drafted in the first round. He was horrible and he washed out of the league, and that was that. But he wasn't.
I
good
feel like
enough,
every
but you
year,
don't know.
I feel like every year Kentucky gets some in there just because they were with other people.
Of course, because and a lot of it is just their measurables, the athleticism, and just the sheer potential. You don't want to miss a guy just because they didn't quite get enough minutes at Kentucky. I mean, you had some of those. You had that year. I mean, look at Devin Booker, and even some of the other players on that team. Devin Booker was coming off the bench, but you could see you didn't want to miss. And with Devin Booker, they were right. But then there were people with the Harrison brothers who were getting more minutes that were wrong.
That was
so
horrible.
it's sometimes that pedigree.
But even that,
helps you
I
and
knew
hurts
in
you.
college I didn't like watching them.
Oh, they were terrible. They were always terrible and remain terrible.
Real quick, Dave's mock draft
Ooh.
top 5.
We
have Phoenix number 1.
Here's my question: is this my top 5 how I would do it, or my top 5 of how I think it will go?
How you would do it?
Well, then first off, number 1,
How you think it should go?
I would take Luka Doncic first.
Woo.
Over Aiden. I don't believe in Ayton. I watched Ayton play. Ayton's got a lot of empty numbers. A lot of empty. I mean, I know those numbers are good. I know he's a super athlete, and I could very well be wrong on him.
Yeah.
But and especially there in Phoenix, I would get Doncic out there with his coach that they did well in Eurobasket. I would get him out there with Devin Booker and really because he can create. Yes, there are some athleticism questions, but he's 18 years old.
Mhm.
And the things he's able to do from passing, he's got a lot of good feel for the game. I think your ceiling is high. Your floor is also high. He's not going to wash out of the league. He's not going to be some of these other Euros that come in and out. He's not that guy.
Yeah.
But that would
So you're taking
be
him number 1 for Phoenix.
Yes, that would be my number one pick.
So we got Sacramento number 2.
Sacramento, it's so tough to ever imagine what in the world they would do or what they prize. I wouldn't take Ayton there because I think if Ayton's not going number 1, he's gonna go into a shell for whoever gets him. So you need to get him in a situation that you have a lot of faith in the people developing it. So I would say number 2 is, with the exception like Kevin Durant, Gary Payton, usually a horrible pick anyway. So I would take the safest guy there, which would be Marvin Bagley.
Don't talk about number 2 picks, Dave, like that.
The history of number 2 picks is not great. Go through that list. It's an awful pick.
Well, it's been great the last 2 years.
Has it? I wouldn't say great.
It's been good enough.
I wouldn't say great. The number 3 pick last year was sure better than the number 2 pick.
Who was number 3 pick last year?
Jason Tatum.
Yeah,
It's all good.
I
That
already
was
knew
a-
the answer.
that was a win.
So I would take Bagley just because in that system I want a guy who won't fail, and Bagley won't fail.
Yeah.
Mm.
So that would be my determination.
Pretty safe
there.
pick, too.
Yeah.
Number 3, Atlanta Hawks.
I'd roll the dice with Ayton there.
All right, number 4, the Memphis Grizzlies, who I think they're looking to trade their pick.
I think they are looking to trade.
And they're trying to – the main reason they're trying to trade the pick, they want the pick. They're trying to trade it to get out of the Chandler Parsons contract.
Which was stupid at the time.
Which was stupid before the time. I mean,
Yes.
it
That
was
was a
stupid.
horrible
It was
contract.
stupid when Dallas did it. It was stupid.
It's just, wow. I mean, he was a good player in college of Florida, too, but, man.
He had
oof.
2 good years in Houston where it's like,
Yeah.
okay, cool. But he looked like he was playing for money. And he was. And he did. And he hasn't played since.
Good for him. Now
Uh,
he's playing for fun.
So Memphis is trying to trade the pick, but right now they have it. Who do you got going there?
I still don't believe in Bamba yet, so I would take Jaren Jackson out of Michigan State.
Jaren Jackson Jr.
Get him there to be the athletic guy next to Marc Gasol, because Marc Gasol comes back next year. I think Jaren Jackson. I would think about taking Jaren with the way the draft will probably go. I would probably have him at 3 to Atlanta, but that would be with Ayton already gone.
Yeah. All right, number 5, the Dallas Mavericks. They
Mo Bamba.
They got
Mo Bamba without Mo Bamba would. I think this is low for where Mo Bamba will actually go. There's no way he makes it past 5. And the thing is, you keep hearing people they're talking their way out of Doncic falling. So I think you're going to see if Doncic really does fall. I think you're going to start seeing some teams. That's when teams will really make a move up, because I think there's teams that are very high on him.
Yeah.
That maybe have the wherewithal to get a guy, and he's another guy that I think you can plug in and play right away.
Yeah.
And you can get him meaningful minutes. I mean, you might see somebody like the Celtics who have a lot of assets move up for somebody like him, or although there is word that they love Bamba too. So we'll see. But also the Clippers. The Clippers have some assets to move. So we'll see where their head's at and what Jerry West actually likes, because they're not getting LeBron. And any Clippers fans, which there are none, that it's not happening.
And then some other big names. Where do you think Trae Young is going to go, and then where do you think Michael Porter Jr. is going to go?
Yeah.
Michael Porter Jr. could be a top 5 pick, which is crazy to me. I wouldn't touch Michael. I've heard the Clippers love him. I think they might move up somewhere in one of those earlier picks, because and you also have the weird thing of just, I think Orlando is a possible spot for Trae Young, because they need help at guard. They do not need to stack more.
It's like
more
the
big men in
Bermuda
there.
Triangle over there, though.
Yeah. Oh no, I don't think it'll be a good place for him. But Trae Young is going to be one of the most. He's boom or bust. He needs to go to a good situation. I saw a perfect thing on TV with it this morning where it showed guys' stats and where they went in the draft, which was like 7 to 10. One was Stephen Curry, one was Jimmer Fredette. And I think that's your now. His ceiling is not Steph Curry, but his ceiling is a Steph Curry type player.
Yeah.
Right.
So I think his career is somewhere in that level. And I think a lot of that level is based on organization and luck and coaching. So I think if he goes to a good situation, which
New York Knicks is not it.
I don't think the Knicks are it. I think
but they might be the one
there.
to take him.
I mean, I think Fizdale's a good coach, though.
Listen, the media would kill him. He'll end up being Jimmer Fredette, which isn't a bad thing. You're going to get a statue in China.
Yeah, you go light up China.
Going to get a statue in China. You have a good career out there. You'll be the next Stephon Marbury.
But let's not forget, he did not play with a good team in college, and he still putting up 10 assists a game in a college game.
We talked about that all year.
Crazy.
Like, how do you get 10 assists in college? First of all, it's hard to do that in college, but then throw into who?
Yeah, exactly. It's not like he was throwing to that Duke lineup, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, well, you easily got 10 assists because you're throwing to Bagley, a Wendell Carter, Grayson Allen pulling up, Gary Trent Jr. You have all these guys that will be first-round picks. No, he's playing with no guys that are going to the league. None.
I have an interesting question because being such a Duke lover. Because Grayson Allen stayed all 4 years. What he's not going to be drafted, I'm assuming.
No, he's going to be drafted.
He'll be in the first round probably.
He scored out athletically better than people thought. He'll be
low first round.
He's late first. Wow. Maybe he could drop to second, but I think no. Grayson Allen's going to get a look in the league. Grayson Allen can play.
He'll definitely be a good role player in the NBA.
People take the nonsense, but Grayson Allen will be in the league for some years.
Yeah.
But in that nonsense in the NBA, it's going to work. Like you want players like that. You want players that are going to play tough and be a little dirty.
I think he grew a lot.
Oh no, somebody's going to take a swing at him. There's no question.
Yeah. He's going to get into a
Well,
fight.
actually, it's the NBA. Nobody's taking a swing at him. What are we talking about? It's going to be another situation where somebody's getting held.
They'll do that. Let's wait till 3 people get in between us, and now I'm going to rush out.
Going back to what you were saying about Trae Young, it really reminds me. I mean, NBA is not my most knowledgeable area, but when we saw the draft a few years ago with Anthony Bennett, I think went first. But but that was horrible. That was a terrible draft class. But I look at my favorite player and I'm like, wow, CJ McCollum went 10th. But it was like you're saying, he went to a team that worked well with him and he developed as a player. And he has a ceiling that's not a Steph Curry ceiling. But
was that McCollum in the same draft as Bennett? Yeah.
He was.
That was a draft that was badly handled at the top.
Mm-hmm.
That was one of those where the top was misdone, but if you look later in the draft, somebody like CJ McCollum at 10, it's like, man, CJ McCollum's good.
Yeah,
he went too late at the time. The Anthony Bennett pick was bad the day of.
Can we say? I mean, McCollum might be the best player in that draft, or at least top 3. Who else was in that draft? Oladipo was in that draft.
Let me see.
Wasn't Oladipo in that draft? We had Nerlens Noel was in that draft.
Oladipo was the year after, I believe.
Was he? Okay.
Let me see.
But yeah, I mean, that was an all-around bad draft, and everybody was waiting for the next year.
Yeah, I gotta pull that one up there because I'm slipping on the times, but I think.
But that's a very forgettable draft, anyways. Like she's saying.
Right. But even so, with.
But
Oladipo was in that draft. He was the 2 pick in that draft.
He was too.
But I would take McCollum over Otto Porter, Josh Williams. But you had Cody Zeller, Alex Len, Nerlens Noel. It was a terrible. Ben McLemore, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope.
Trey Burke went before.
So yeah, you're.
That's a horrible draft.
Steven Adams is one of the best players in that draft.
Wow.
Yeah, Steven Adams was in that draft.
Yeah, Steven Adams. They got him in the lottery. That was the best prize of the James Harden trade. But Dennis Schroeder's not good.
Giannis was in that draft.
Well, yeah, Giannis at 15 was the best player in that draft. He's the best player in any draft that he was in. But I would say you're probably Giannis, Oladipo with the way he is now, then McCollum, then Adams.
Yeah, we got a caller live on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is your boy, just in time. Just was watching the last 30 seconds, and I heard Miss Tracy getting on my boy Anthony.
Anthony Bennett was trash.
Yeah.
He was
No,
trash.
listen.
Josh Williams
listen,
Porter
Josh
Jr.
is, Josh is
Listen,
coming in with
listen,
the Stephen A.
listen,
Smith. I
listen,
know him. He's my
listen,
friend.
Listen.
I'm listening.
Okay. First off, Anthony, I worked with personally. He was not trash. He was very.
why.
He was. No. Look. At Finley, he was one. He was a McDonald's All-American. Was one of the best players in the country.
He was.
He went to
very
UNLV
good.
and was he went to UNLV and was one of the most efficient players in the country that year.
No,
I
he
disagree
wasn't.
completely.
I think
He was badly coached.
terrible.
But I
No,
disagree with you.
no. He was definitely badly coached. I mean, Dave Price was horrible. Who was here that year? Who was the white boy that was shooting?
Keaton
that was
Reinhardt.
shooting way too mean.
That kid was
Yeah,
terrible.
Reinhardt. Reinhardt was another McDonald's All-American that was just shooting horrendous shots, and he left the program and was never heard from.
Oh,
again.
he went to like USC, but I think I sat
he-
next to his dad or his uncle or somebody related to him at one game when he was missing everything. It was like, put it up, Keaton. It's like,
Oh gosh.
no, don't.
Yeah.
Please don't
And
put it up.
Yeah, I was actually doing press at that point, and so I would honestly be in the press room and asking Coach Rice after the game, like, so Caton was 1 for 15 from 3, like, do you think he should have started driving? The game ended up being close because you guys essentially shot yourselves out, and he's like, well, that's the way we play. That's our offense. I'm like, dog, he's wide open from 3. He could have just dribbled in and gotten a layup.
But Josh,
No,
they
no,
didn't have an offense. I saw them play Air Force, who just because they
I
ran a
went-
zone.
You were
Yeah.
at
Oh,
that
my
game
Lord.
too.
I was
You
at
were
that
at
game too.
That
Oh
game
my
was
God,
painful.
That game
It
was horrible.
was.
That game was horrible.
Worst coaching performance by a high-level college team that I've ever seen, because Air Force ran a
Yeah,
zone
that was
with
terrible.
no athletes,
Mm-hmm.
and UNLV had
And
McDonald's
stayed in the game.
All-Americans, and they were right
Couldn't
there in
get
the
it
game with
done.
it, because with a zone they just had this look like they just kept running Anthony
Yeah,
Bennett up
well-
to like the free throw
well-
line and then didn't know what to do with it.
It was terrible.
Didn't that game? I want to say that game went into overtime. I know we won.
Yeah, it-
but I
it
feel
was-
like that
Did
game
we
went into
win?
overtime.
Yes,
Didn't
UNLV
feel
won.
like it.
Yeah, we won.
Oh, no, it felt
but
like a
they
loss.
were down like the whole. They were down the whole game, and then they finally figured it out like the last 3-4 minutes of the game, and But basically, I say all that to say, Anthony he went to a coach in Mike Brown that didn't know what to do with him, and then he actually ended up having asthma, and they didn't know, and that was one of the reasons why he had a lot of struggles early in his career. Neither here nor there.
But how
That
do you
draft
not
actually
not
was-
know that going into the draft?
Yeah, they didn't know. They did not know. He basically we kind of thought he might have because at UNLV, when how UNLV does all the the gunshots and everything in the pregame, so it's a lot of smoke. He would struggle for the first 10-15 minutes of the game. He would have to come out early just because there was so much smoke still in the arena.
That's fair enough, but he
And
wasn't in
that
great
was-
shape either.
True.
Oh no. He surrounded himself with a lot of people that were yes people. His his agent ended up being his high school coach from AAU from Canada that was a substitute teacher that had no idea what to do as an agent, and it was a lot of mismanagement. But I say all that to say that, like you said, the top of that draft was very weak. But once you get past 7, you start hitting
heck
on
of
a
a
lot
draft.
of people. Caldwell Pope he's been a solid NBA player. He's a starter. C.J. McCollum has been an all-star now. Carter Williams at the time ended up winning Rookie of the Year at 11. Steven Adams has been a great player. Olynyk has now gone and robbed somebody of some money.
He has.
Shabazz Muhammad, he was a
he's
miss,
about out of the league.
but he went at 14. Remember, Shabazz was number
Yeah.
1 player in the country.
And he was
So
3
for
years
him to
older
fall-
than
Yeah,
the,
he was
uh,
also 25.
Yeah, he was 37. But Giannis at 15 at the end of the lottery is the steal of the draft.
Of course,
Dennis Schroeder.
but
was
Josh, I
17.
think you would
it was.
you would agree we all saw that nobody knew with Giannis. So it's not like we can go back with revisionist history
yeah.
because
Right.
everybody saw all you saw was grainy videos where it looked like he was dunking over Quan.
yeah.
And that's not me
Yeah, yeah.
disrespecting you, but that's
Basically.
the size of
I
the
feel
people
you.
he was playing against, and it looked like
Yeah.
he looked like that kid that's in Canada that's 6'10" at 12 years old
Rem-
and on 8-foot rims.
Dude,
That's what
that's
he looked like he was
ridiculous.
playing.
Reminds me of the Zion highlights.
Yeah.
All his dunks
Yeah.
are on like
Yeah.
5'9" white guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And
Look-
it's like, oh man, he's an athlete. And
He's
it's like,
gonna
no,
be
no,
great.
He's
He's
just
going
not
to
winning
do.
anybody.
Zion's a bust in the
He's a
making.
bust. I've been calling that for
I
a year.
think so too.
But I feel
think
like
so
with
too.
Anthony Davis or just
Bennett.
Anthony Bennett,
They wish it was Anthony Davis.
Oh yeah,
it
different
was
story.
like Dave said.
LeBron
it
would
seems
not
like
be
a
leaving.
bad pick at the time. You couldn't know about Giannis, but like,
Dude, the
Bennett,
reaction,
it was
the faces
bad.
everyone made when it happened, like no one had a clue that was going to be the
Dude,
pick.
I never agree with Bill Simmons, especially not anymore. But I remember him doing that draft, and he audibly on TV said, "What?"
No, everybody. I mean, we all did the same thing. I was watching that, and me and my brother texting like, we're happy because it's a UNLV guy, but at the same time, we're like, this is not good.
It did a
and I
disservice
knew
to
it
him.
wasn't going to be good for Anthony Bennett
Yeah.
going that high, having pressure of number one pick in a draft that everyone's already saying is weak. So you're trying to prove that, no, I'm not. And I mean, he jumped around the league for a couple years, and now, I mean, Josh, where is he now?
He played. I'm trying to remember where he played. Hold on, give me a second. He played.
At the YMCA.
He played overseas this year. No. He played overseas.
But if he
No,
went
no,
later,
no.
he
was,
could have been a contributor, like off the bench
right.
on a team. The fact that the number one pick killed
He was
him.
in Turkey. He
Turkey,
was in
all right.
Turkey. He was
Yeah.
in Turkey.
I feel like if he had
And-
better
and
work
yes,
ethic,
yes.
because he definitely had the skills, he had talent. I feel like
Well,
the first few games watching UNLV, like the first half of the season, he looked great. The second half of the season, you start seeing like he looks bored. He looks like he knows he's better than everyone he's playing against. He didn't really want to work hard. When they got to the tournament, he looked like he didn't want to be there anymore at all, and they got bounced, I think, in the first round. So I feel like his work ethic. I mean, and you know him better, so I don't know, but I'm saying from what I watched outside looking in.
That was always his issue.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mm.
Yep.
say it, Tracy.
But yeah.
Can I ask Josh a
just
question
wanted
that's
to call
not
in.
meant to be mean?
Uh-oh.
Can I ask you a real question?
Sure.
And you don't have to answer.
All right.
Because you were talking
I have
about
to
how he
answer
got
if you're gonna
taken.
have
He
to.
got taken advantage of by the people around him. I heard a rumor that he never learned how to read.
Oh
And I
no,
wonder-
Ant's okay. No, that's a lie. That's a lie. Ant's fine.
Okay.
That seems
He,
excessive.
I mean, he went to he went to Finley Prep. Finley Prep had legit teachers. I actually I subbed one.
I would have leaned more on the Canada part.
He didn't have his tests.
No.
read to him?
Well, I can. This is since I'm not there, I can't really talk about it off air like I usually would.
Mhm.
But I mean, there's definitely a greater story of how he even ended up at UNLV that is a little shady and a little sad. But it went back on again the same person that ended up being his agent, his coach in Canada. Just a lot of things kind of slipped through the cracks. But
That's
everything
what I was
at,
wondering
at,
is
you
if
know,
it's
at
like
Finley. Oh,
he was
yeah,
taking
no, as
advantage
far
of
as
it because of part of that.
Yeah.
Because of
Yeah, well,
issues he might have had.
he kind of just was in. He was more or less in a situation. I mean, the biggest thing with Anthony, you know, right to you all's point, him going to Cleveland. You got to remember, this is when Cleveland was still trying to, you know, get through the LeBron-less forest, and you know they weren't anything near what they are right now or where they've been the last 5 years. So it was kind of a different time period as well.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think if you would have went to a different coach, because remember Mike Brown was coaching there at that point,
Right.
and Mike Brown just was running him into the ground, and he needed a coach. He needed a coach that honestly, the biggest issue with Anthony coming out was he didn't have a position.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like in the league, he's really only 6'7". He's like 6'7", maybe 6'8". And so
That sounds
he was
tall
always used
for
to
him.
being no, he's legit 6'7". They always would stretch him to saying he was 6'8", 6'9",
Yeah.
but he wasn't. He was more 6'7 and a half, 6'8". And so when you're able to bully people in high school, and then even in college, he still was more athletic and still able to bully people. But at that height in the league, what is he? So if he's not Draymond Green, he never had the ball handling skills to be Draymond Green. His shot did get to the point where it was very useful, but he never really had a true position. And so being the number one pick, with the number one pick, you're not supposed to be having any questions. Like, I need to know what you are. You
Yeah.
need to know what you are. Fault. But, you know what I mean? Basically, we need to know what you are coming in. Like, that's a no-brainer pick.
Yeah.
Like, everyone needs to say, we know what you are. But like you guys said, that draft, didn't really have.
Yeah, that draft we didn't know who anyone
was.
was. And Nerlens Noel was
no one knew.
Nerlens Noel was the number one pick before
I
he got
never would have
hurt.
touched him either.
Mhm.
But then he got hurt. Yeah.
I would have taken Oladipo in that draft number 1.
Mhm.
I don't think I
was
would have
shown.
blinked an eye at it.
At Indiana, I don't. But remember, Indiana at that point, even with Crean, they were still trash juice. They weren't very good. Oladipo looked good, but they weren't great.
Yeah, but Oladipo could have walked
in.
in and been a lockdown defender
Hold on.
from the start.
Cody Zeller
that's true,
and
that's fair.
Oladipo went in the same draft class, right? Or was Cody
Yeah,
Zeller?
Cody Zeller was the same year.
Yeah, they were the number
Mhm.
1 seed before the NCAA started that year. So you can say
Yeah, they were high ranked that. They were high ranked that year.
number 1, and I remember that because I made a slap bet with one of my friends that they would go to the Final Four, and I got slapped.
Oh,
But they were
Wow.
number
Oh
1
my
preseason.
goodness.
So they weren't. I mean, they weren't trash juice. They weren't great.
Well, but
They didn't end up
Crean
great.
didn't. Yeah, they didn't end up doing anything though. Like they
But
were
they were a
number one. They had
perfectly fine
like,
college regular season team.
and speaking of
Yeah.
bets, Josh is about 3 weeks away from doing 100 push-ups on the show.
Ooh, ooh.
Ooh, 100 push.
Yeah. What is that bet again?
You said LeBron's going to retire.
Oh, that's right.
Oh,
that's right.
that was
like LeBron.
that's a dumb bet.
That's right.
That's a dumb bet.
That's right.
don't
That's
forget,
okay.
don't
No,
forget
no,
that bet.
No. Hey, Dave. But ask him what his side of the bet is. If,
Yeah,
if,
his
if
side's
I
worse.
should be right,
I don't remember. What was your
he
side?
has to do
Push-ups whenever.
He has to do push-ups
For
forever.
Oh, that's
Phone
fine. I mean,
call.
you should.
That's how confident I am
Oh, yeah,
in this bet, though.
I would even take that bet. It's he's not
That's all right.
retiring.
But if he's wrong, like even if he just says, I think I don't know, I have to figure it out, and he retires for like a month. If he comes back, that's not the bet.
Well, listen. Just remember that when you're at push-up 37,
That's all right. That's all right.
you'll be
Josh,
thinking about that. Like, man, I should have made that bet.
I can get through the first 50. I'm okay. It's around 68. 68 is where life starts
So-
to
So you
change.
just
The
can't get to
60
69.
Yeah, you can't. It was the 69th one that you can't figure out.
That's what she said.
Wow.
Oh,
You set yourself up, man.
I don't know.
Well, I want to just.
It's the wrong
I just
show, wrong
wanna say this.
podcast.
I just, yeah, that's the Streets and Sinners podcast.
Oh gosh.
But I just want to say I can hear you guys great. Everything on this side sounds terrific. So for callers that call in, they shouldn't have much issue. It sounds good. There's no lag. You guys sound great. And
Feel
keep
better.
up the good work. I'm gonna get back to this inventory.
Thanks, Josh Porter Jr.
Josh Porter Jr.
Bye, Joshua.
I'll talk to you guys later. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
He's only a male friend I have that actually says bye-bye to me.
Bye-bye.
Have you heard my favorite thing I love about Josh is his voicemail message.
Oh, it's so
I don't even
nice.
have Josh's phone number.
He's so polite.
I don't even know.
It's
His number is
so-
702.
It's like, hi, it's Josh.
Hi, you've reached Joshua Williams. Please
I'm
leave
the
a
nicest
message.
person.
I'm the
on
nicest person
planet.
ever. Unless you get on my Facebook and I go in your DMs. If you guys missed last show, you got to check it out because
I heard that part about.
he talked about
And I was even here for that. What he was talking about
punking
going
people
on
in the
there-
DMs. Like
and I was like, no, Josh, that's
No.
not you.
he-
That's not you.
Josh gets a little bit gangster in the DMs if you go a little crazy on the
He's undercover.
Jordan LeBron debate.
Keyboard warrior.
Wow.
Keep
All
it
right. So the draft is next week. I think maybe we'll talk about it, but we might start the show later so we can watch like the first 10 picks of the draft on the show, and you guys can hear us analyze instead of
Yeah, it's going to be excitement.
So what we will not say, we're going to have keywords we can't say. So if you want to hear these keywords, go ahead and turn on ESPN because you'll hear them all game. Jalen Rose will compare, and we're not going to do this. We're not going to compare the white guy to another white guy. We're not going to compare the light-skinned dude to another light-skinned dude, the same height and same
Well,
complexion.
what if it's just too
If it works, it works.
appropriate?
If it works, it works. But Jalen compares everyone by looks. I think he's going to be the next Jimmer Fredette. Oh yeah, he's a 5'9" white guy.
Because like I think Luka could be like bigger Manu, but one's Argentinian and one's Eastern European. I mean, that's not the same.
No.
Yeah.
You won't be hearing what's other words?
Upside,
Wingspan, upside.
Wingspan.
I'm gonna write all of these words down and just
These are
randomly
keywords
just
we
be like,
can't say.
upside.
Oh yeah, the big one for Billis after
Wingspan.
the wingspan one, because that's what they made the drinking game on. It's the second jump ability.
Second
Jump ability.
I'm just gonna whisper them into the mic. Wingspan.
Wingspan.
Just be subliminal.
Wings.
Wingspan.
All right, and we talked about this on Tuesday's show, but Steve and Dave weren't here, so we're gonna get into it now. Where's LeBron going? I'll start with Steve because he hasn't talked in a while.
It's so, you know what? Almost every time I think about this, I come up with a different place. I think I started in Houston. At some point, I ended up in LA and Philly and
Magical journey.
And then he's at my house with Michael Jordan.
yeah. He's next season. LeBron is playing in my backyard. That's
We're sharing nibs.
Turkey.
No, that's wrong. You would never share your nibs.
Nah, not even.
He doesn't
with
like
LeBron.
to share.
I don't know. I honestly, at this point, I think that the Lakers. I never thought I would say this. I think that LeBron has a chance to go on the Lakers more than any other team. Next to the Lakers is Philly, and after Philly, he's staying in Cleveland. I don't know how I went from 100% Houston to I don't even think he's going to try to go to Houston.
Probably because you heard enough and read enough to realize, like, wait, Houston can't even really make this happen.
I mean, I think maybe that's part of it, but it just
listen.
I feel
If Houston had room to make this happen, and
it would
have
take
some
the Chris
players,
Paul deal, but they don't have the Chris Paul deal available because they made the Chris Paul deal.
LeBron would do that if he could have Chris Paul and James Harden and play on that team, and people took less money, but they're not taking less money. LeBron's not taking less
Harden
money.
Already can't.
I'm more talking about LeBron and Chris Paul taking less money.
Yeah.
And that's not going to happen.
No,
and they have no other wiggle room to make that happen. Even in a trade, you can say, like, look, Cleveland needs to just trade LeBron. There's just not anything there in Houston. They don't have draft picks. They don't have you don't want Ariza.
Yeah.
They're not trading for Eric Gordon.
Well, you're not going to take that Ryan Anderson deal off your hands.
Nobody's taking Ryan Anderson. Hopefully not.
I just see and even just with the players that I'm looking at who will be surrounding LeBron, and the Lakers have guys who like to pass the ball. Lonzo Ball, I'm thinking of specifically, who, as much as I wanted to be the Laker hating Lonzo Ball hater, I really couldn't be, because he's not a great shooter, but he's not terrible. He's a good passer. He can move the ball down the court. I mean, he
can't hit free throws.
He is technically what you want your point guard to be on paper. A guy who can move the ball down the court and pass really well. And those are two things he can do. And he will pass the ball to LeBron a lot. So I can see that working. I think he'll also get better over the next few years.
And the upside of having to listen to LeVar compare his son to LeBron.
I mean, that is the part that I just hope this does not happen.
Upside.
Because
they'll trade him.
I'm so sick of hearing
He'll get traded.
I'm so sick of hearing him talk.
Yeah.
About and then it'd just be another prediction that he predicted that came true. And it's just I don't think I could live with the NBA knowing that there's a chance he might pop up at any time on a headline saying, "I told y'all my son was gonna play with LeBron James," and I can't deal with it. But there or Philly, I think him and Philly has enough players at least that if they lose a couple, they still can keep the core of their team, which is a pretty good team. They got a decent amount of shooters. They have Embiid and Simmons. I think the worst part of this, if he goes to Philly, will be on Simmons. I think he'll be affected the most. I think he won't develop as great as he could develop unless LeBron takes a come off the bench leadership type of role, which I don't, which exactly,
which
it ain't going to happen.
By the way,
it wouldn't happen, and that would kind of defeat the purpose of them even kind of coming together. So I don't know. I mean, I think maybe it could work. I can't remember the last time I've seen almost two players with LeBron and Ben Simmons being very similar like that, playing on the floor at the same time with an Embiid. I don't know if that would work or if it would be a disaster. You think like, oh, it should be great, but I don't know. It's so much there, but those are the two teams, either Lakers or Philly. I can't see him going anywhere else.
All right, Dave, what do you think?
Barring the secret ownership agreement, I used to think he was staying East, but I can't figure out a situation good enough. I would take a lot of bridge mending to go back to Miami, which isn't impossible. I mean, he went back and played for Dan Gilbert's team, but that's why I don't think
it would take. But he left on way worse terms in Cleveland the first time he did Miami.
He did. So I mean, I'm starting to really think he'll be a Laker. I don't think it's going to be an ideal decision. Here's the thing, if he chooses the Lakers, which seem to be the most likely pick because they can fit him and they can fit somebody else, which might not be Paul George, by the way, because Paul George does have a good shot to stay. I know how crazy that sounds.
You read that article?
No, not that one article. That's several articles. There's a lot of word out there that Paul George, he's not gone. Let's just put it that way. I think he has more of a chance of playing with Kawhi than with Paul George.
All right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's what that is. Or, him and Chris Paul go to the Lakers.
That's not happening.
That you don't want it to happen. You don't want it to happen.
LeBron, and we talked about this.
He has more
LeBron doesn't want that to happen. If LeBron really wanted to play with all his friends like he's been saying, how come he hasn't played with Carmelo yet? He's had opportunities to go to New York.
I think that's the one friend he doesn't want to play with.
I think looking at Chris Paul not being able to play through the playoffs every single year and getting older, he's not going to want to play with Chris Paul.
Let's also remember LeBron is the same person who got Tristan Thompson paid, who wanted J.R. Smith around. So let's not all of a sudden say he's got great judgment when these things come into play.
Yeah.
So I mean, those are all his deals, and also was a factor in Kyrie Irving not being there.
Yeah.
So,
with Chris Paul's deal
decision.
with Houston too, if he bounced, I mean that would almost be like the Boozer thing in Cleveland.
But only if they can't get LeBron, because Daryl Morey is so worried about the Warriors.
Yeah.
If they can't get LeBron, which I don't see the path, I think he would rather Chris Paul went back on that deal.
Maybe, yeah.
Because I think he would look at it as, well, that saved me. Daryl Morey's a very smart guy.
Yeah.
And he knows to keep Chris Paul, you're going to have to give him years and max money.
Yeah.
He also knows that he really doesn't want to do that if there's not a LeBron James attached to it, which I can't see how there is a LeBron there. So if I were him, you would almost want it. It's like LeBron or Chris Paul can go too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I mean that would ruin the whole handshake deal. But I think if you have a LeBron going to LA, if Paul George isn't going with him, you can easily, by not signing Randall and stretching out Luol Deng, because nobody's going to take that deal off your hands. You stretch it out over 5 years. You got money. You can get 2 max contracts. So then you could go in with LeBron and Chris Paul and still, because San Antonio's not doing anything with Kawhi till the trade deadline. They're not listening to anybody. They're not talking to anybody.
Yeah.
They don't want anything. Boston tried to make a move last year. They weren't listening to him then.
But it might also depend, and it might not, but it might depend on Kawhi and Pop talking.
But you saw with LaMarcus Aldridge, they're going to at least make a shot. They're not going to make the Cleveland mistake.
Yeah.
Because Cleveland could have done the same thing. You start the year with him.
Well, Cleveland had 2 more years with Kyrie, so that was stupid for them to do that anyways.
Yeah.
But at the very least, they could start the year.
Yeah.
And if it's really that bad, there's always the trade deadline, and they could have gotten, I'm sure, a better deal.
I mean, they could be talking about trading Kyrie right now. They could have kept him all year. He still would have had the same trade value.
100%, because he's one of the few guys that matters. Kawhi is one of the few guys that matters. So you don't give up on that guy. And if you do decide to give up on him, the Lakers with young guys, or Boston with young guys and picks, those are places that he could conceivably go, and you can get some sort of return for him.
And the Lakers with young guys for LeBron, he could either choose to play with them or choose to, trade. And there could be a trade. There's been scenario talks with LeBron, Paul George, and Kawhi. Like, that is pipe dream stuff, but it's still possible with all the pieces Lakers do have, the young guys, to be able to trade.
And that's the thing. I think that's where you got to see it as 2 max contracts. That's why I'm saying if it's him and Paul George, there's the mindset of, we can still go get somebody
Yeah.
if we don't fit in with these kids.
Yeah.
If Lonzo's shooting doesn't get better, if we just don't think you can win with Brandon Ingram.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that they have the value to necessarily get you Kawhi Leonard, but they've got something, and mix in Kuzma there with it. You can make moves.
And now going to Philly, because I'm not sure if you heard this part of the show the other day, but I was the only one on the side of LeBron being good in Philly. Nobody else.
I think he would be.
Nobody
100%.
else thought LeBron would be good in Philly. Desiree, who's a Philly fan, straight up said they don't need LeBron. And I mean, I was yelling at her.
Everybody needs LeBron.
And that's what I was yelling. Like I don't understand that whole we don't need LeBron. I really do feel like that comes from LeBron hate.
One team doesn't need LeBron. Only one.
Yeah.
They play in Oakland, California.
And
That's one.
and if he did go there,
and they would still take their crack at him if it was feasible.
Yeah,
exactly.
And nobody would watch the NBA.
Yeah.
I'd still watch it.
I wouldn't watch one Golden State game.
He is the reason that people watched 4 games that we called the NBA Finals this year. It was LeBron James. We knew for a fact Golden State would sweep that terrible Cavs team, but we watched to see if maybe LeBron could beat them in at least one game. That is the only reason anybody watched
he did enough to do
any game. Yeah. Exactly. He should have won probably 2 games. But when you have a team that terrible, nobody wanted to see anybody on Cleveland play. Watching Golden State play was not exciting. It wasn't like the game was so close.
Oh no!
Other than the first game,
break the record for 3-point shots with some crazy threes was pretty dope.
Watching Kevin Durant game
watching
3
Kevin Durant game
was
3
amazing.
was pretty dope.
Did you see what Charles Barkley said about LeBron possibly going to Philly?
Yeah, but Barkley's basketball analysis, I mean, he doesn't make sense most of the time when he does predictions and stuff like that. It's entertaining, and that's the only reason why he even said that.
But don't you think he has a good point about? And I agree with you that Desiree is incorrect that they don't need him. Just like Boston, I could say I don't want him.
Yeah.
But would we be better with him? Yes, but I don't want him. But it would limit Ben Simmons a lot. I think he's right about that.
And by the way, especially with all the nonsense that comes out of Kyrie's camp constantly, or Kyrie's own mouth, between the flat Earth and everything else, and
you mean the Earth isn't flat?
Yeah, I know, crazy, right?
I mean,
all this fascination with playing in New York. Man, if Boston will take their shot to get him as well. I mean, they have the stuff to do it.
Yep.
When you have one man who can take any team to the finals, you want that guy on your team. Period. Yeah.
But back to Philly. I mean, Dave, how do you think that would work? Because I know a lot of people think him and Ben Simmons wouldn't work good together. I'm not a huge fan of that being like the greatest thing working together. But if Ben Simmons is the next LeBron James, like everybody says, the only thing he really needs to do right now is develop a shot. He should be working right now as we're speaking. He should be in the gym somewhere working on a shot.
Doesn't seem like he's doing
if he's
that.
going to be the next LeBron James, who'd be the best person around to teach him how to be the best LeBron James?
See, that's the one thing that I think people are missing on all this is he's got so many gifts. He has so much natural talent. He needs someone like LeBron. LeBron works hard on his game. The LeBron that plays now and the LeBron that came into the league are totally different players.
Right.
LeBron and the LeBron from his first Miami season are totally different players.
Right.
He's evolved his game, whether people like him or not. He does a lot of things now that he was not able to do. Back in the day,
his best season ever was year 15.
Yeah.
He had no post game back in the day. Couldn't abuse people in the post.
Still should use that a lot more.
He absolutely should.
Yeah.
But it's like he's developed a shot. He's developed a post game. He's developed a turnaround. He's developed all these tools to go along with what he has.
Yep.
He is perfect for that. The other thing that I think people never give enough credit for, and oh my God, you're going to love this in a second. People didn't seem to notice in 2008 when LeBron played with Kobe in the Olympics. You saw a difference in LeBron's work ethic immediately because he saw how hard Kobe Bryant worked. You could see that LeBron was pure talent coasting, which, I mean, he had so much talent that it didn't matter. He was amazing.
Yeah.
But you could tell the difference in LeBron's mindset and in LeBron's mindset improvement, especially since the end of that game against Spain in the gold medal game. Everybody didn't know what to do because the team was actually playing them close. and everybody looked for somebody, and Kobe Bryant took over.
Yeah.
And he was the man at that point in time. And LeBron looked at that, and you saw him. He was completely improved directly after that. You started seeing him every summer add to his game. You start seeing him do like what Kobe did. When Kobe needed to learn post-game, he went to Akeem. Then LeBron went to Akeem. You started seeing the constant working out, and you started seeing LeBron work out and work on getting a little bit lighter and a little bit faster and being able to be a little bit more durable that way. So I think that now you can have somebody like Ben Simmons where it's like, does it look like the fit's great? No, but what are you going to do? It's like, okay, so you're going to back off of him?
No.
Okay, but every time what we saw from Ben Simmons is you back off of him, it just gives him room
to get right to the hole.
Yeah.
And he can get to the hole anytime. We saw that.
Yeah.
And Ben Simmons is also an unselfish player. So to me, LeBron in the latter stages of his career, everybody says he can't play off the ball. He needs to bring the ball down. I don't think he's going to want to anymore as much. He's going to want
big games.
But he's still going to want to be able to be in a position where he's not putting in all the work. I just don't think this year he didn't have anyone to be able to do that. We've seen that with Kyrie. Kyrie brought the ball down a lot. Kyrie, ran that offense a lot. I think with somebody like Ben Simmons, who is unselfish, he'll find LeBron in the right spots. And that's two people, probably the two best people that can get to the hole anytime they want with their size and length and even speed. LeBron's not the fastest player, but he knows how to maneuver to the hole. Ben Simmons can get there anytime, too. I mean, we saw it this year. And with a big man like Joel Embiid, who can either clog up the lane or step out a little bit, that lane's going to be wide open for people to just run through.
And let's not forget that when you're getting LeBron, you're not just getting LeBron. You can get LeBron plus. They have a lot of money to spend.
Yeah.
So people are like, oh, you're just dropping LeBron into that. Now, you can get LeBron. You can get J.J. Redick at a little bit of a lower deal to come out there and shoot some more threes and other things. Plus,
and J.J. will play cheaper if LeBron's there.
100%. 100%.
You're going to save.
Wants a ring.
You'll save millions. Because they might try to sign him anyways.
Well, and you're going to get the ring chasers.
Yeah.
Right.
The ring chasers go to those places.
What's that?
You dump that guy. What is that guy's name? The contract I was talking about.
Jared Bayless.
Yeah,
who's still attached to him.
Yeah.
Philly is number 3 in cap space. They got about $30 million for the 2018-19
and there's ways to get more.
So they definitely can finagle a lot of money.
So I don't know. I mean, Philly fans, to me, saying that are delusional that they wouldn't need LeBron James.
They're crazy.
That's a guaranteed trip to the finals.
How did they get past? I'm sorry, but how did they get past Boston without him?
They don't.
Yeah, they can't.
Not with Kyrie and Hayward being back. They don't. They need to add somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Even if they added Paul George, I think that that gives them the chance to do that. But
that's a huge because you'd essentially be replacing because I thought Covington played well in the regular season. He's a good defender,
was very good, yeah.
But Covington killed them in the Boston series. He killed them. He couldn't hit anything. Paul George is not that.
Yeah.
So I mean, you have guys, you have possibilities. I think we've seen LeBron
and Philly without getting LeBron or Paul George or a big free agent. They're gonna have to depend on Markelle Fultz being who they thought he was going to be when they drafted him number 1.
Well, they got to play him next year. You have to play him because if you don't play him next year, he's useless anyway because you've ruined his confidence and he's done anyway.
Yeah.
So, but I think you've seen LeBron's best statistical season. Not necessarily efficiency. I think he's going to be super efficient next year, but I think he's tired.
Well, hopefully he won't have to do as much.
Did you see?
And I don't think he will. Anywhere he goes, he's going to pick a team
Yeah.
that's going to have other players to be able to do stuff. And that's why even with the Lakers, with Lonzo Ball bringing the ball up, even though Lakers are going to run a much faster pace than LeBron's used to in Cleveland, because, I mean, they really run a slow pace.
Let's see, because LeBron dictates your pace.
But then
a little bit.
When you look at the after Game 7, there's like this video of Cleveland in the locker room. And everybody's sitting around. Some of them are like celebrating. They're looking at the trophy. They're all excited. They won the conference championship. And LeBron is sitting in the corner with 2 huge bags of ice on his knees, on his back, his chest, and then he's getting another bag of ice wrapped around him. And that is the result of having to do every single thing on the floor for basically the whole game.
I mean, you didn't see JaVale McGee? He played 11 minutes and was iced up the same way.
But see, that's smarter though.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
You should be doing that. You should be taking care of yourself.
But what I'm saying is when you're the size of a JaVale McGee and you play that position and you only play a few minutes, his is more of a preventative maintenance. LeBron James is doing it because he has to, with his age and his physique and all the other things that play into it. Now, I'm not saying if LeBron had 5 other All-Stars out there, he wouldn't wrap up the same way because he wants to protect his body, but he doesn't have to. It doesn't become that big of a thing. Like, we want to see LeBron post up more. He can't post up more and play defense and bring the ball down the court and facilitate everything. He has to, in the position he's in now with Cleveland, he has to conserve energy and, in a sense, pick his spots. He can't just be the wild, crazy man that does everything every single game. Or when you get to the finals.
He had a pretty good year of doing that.
He did. And then he got to the finals and was literally out of gas. It's 4 games, you can't do that.
But he wasn't out of gas. He knew
didn't have the horses.
He knew his team wasn't going to do anything after that game 1 loss. You can't do anything else. I don't think he was necessarily out of gas. If the team was still balling, if they would have won that game 1, that gas would have been there.
That'll give you a good second win. But, I mean, at this point, this is 5th win from everything. I mean, you let...
He was mentally checked out. We've seen LeBron do this his whole career.
Sure.
Like when he left Cleveland the first time, he mentally checked out of that Boston series.
He checked out at the end of regulation in game 1.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, the year before against Orlando, I mean, he left the court without even shaking hands, left the whole arena, and he had checked out that game too when Orlando.
Look at the numbers of a checked out LeBron.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like everybody says he checked out, and it's like, oh, triple-double when he checked out. Okay. All right.
Yeah, but that's how good he is.
You know what I mean?
But that's what I'm saying. It wasn't him running out of gas physically. It was, and of course he's tired. He played, that hard all year. Everyone's tired in June.
Of
if
course,
they're still playing basketball.
He
But
shouldn't have played every game. The fact that they have him out there playing every game, the amount of minutes he played, and just the amount of effort he has to put in to carry that team.
You'll never see LeBron play 82 games again in a season.
No,
in the regular
never,
season.
because
that was more for the NBA for the whole. They changed the schedule for him.
Well, think of the organizations you're talking about him going to. Philadelphia, well, who knows what the craziness there, but they have younger legs.
Yeah.
Houston, Miami,
and let's not forget Philly still hasn't hired a GM, so they need to do that before all this stuff happens.
All of these organizations are organizations usually with smart guys at some level, if not all levels.
Yeah.
If somehow they found a way for him to go to Houston, there is no chance in the world that Mike D'Antoni and Daryl Morey would even allow him to play 82 games.
Let's see. Mike D'Antoni killed Kobe's career.
He killed a lot of careers, but there's no way that Daryl Morey's going to let that go in that situation. If you look at the situation where he had Kobe there, you have an over-competitive maniac who won't respond well to rest. Because if you tell Kobe to rest, he'll probably try to kill you.
Yeah,
in a way, but at the same time,
true.
In that game where Kobe hurt himself and tore his Achilles against Golden State, he'd got hurt 3 other times in that game where he looked like he should have been taken back to the locker room. And so to me, that's bad coaching because Kobe would have never got that injury if you would have taken those other 3 injuries serious.
My thing isn't as much D'Antoni in that case. I think because D'Antoni is well known for running people on the ground. Now, the case with Houston is the way their roster was, he had to run people on the ground. And if you look at Chris Paul, people are like, well, he ran Chris Paul on the ground. It's like Chris Paul missed a lot of time.
Yeah.
A lot.
He missed at least 20 games. At least 20.
He missed
I think it's more than
minimum
that.
of 20 games. It's like you got to be able to summon it at some point.
Right.
So that's that. To me, the Chris Paul injury is not on D'Antoni. To me, the Chris Paul injury is on Chris Paul.
I mean, Chris Paul was doing that before he even got to Houston.
So, but I'm just saying, I think there's organizations who are just going to make it a factor of rest. I think LeBron, 82 games in your 15th season, including carrying a team to the finals with 2 7-game series.
Yeah.
That's pretty insane when you think about it.
Yeah. And where most players are in their 15th season, if they make it 15 seasons, they're on a decline as far as everything, really. Statistically, they decline. Games, minutes, everything is less. I think LeBron now holds the record for most minutes of a 15-season player or something like that.
And that's the thing he has a lot of records, and I think he has more records he wants to go get. And if he plays this much, I don't think you can go get them. Because realistically, that's his. He's clearly not going to win the rings argument because even if he somehow wins 3 more, that's still a lot of finals losses on his record.
Yeah.
But he might be trying to win the argument by sheer weight of numbers.
Well, and that's what I was telling Josh with the whole retirement thing. He's not retiring because his only claim to fame to be the best is to break every record, and which is very possible. I mean, he can get Kareem's scoring record. And LeBron's saying he wants to play with his son.
That's what I'm saying. I believe that.
I mean, I
believe he wants to play with his son.
Yeah.
How old is his son now?
13?
Yeah, his son.
Pretty young. I mean,
LeBron would have to be playing until he's around 40.
Okay.
Speaking of LeBron's son, did you guys see the thing about Kenyon Martin's son and Scottie Pippen's son?
That's fake. There was no basis to that.
Scottie Pippen was on
the jump.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they've already come through and said that's. They even talked to the people at the school, and they're like that's new stuff.
The
so
school
Scottie
can't really
Pippen was
disclose that information.
Yeah, I get that,
Scottie
but-
Pippen said that I've called some people, and
and
it's
can't
not
confirm.
really
It's like not
can't confirm
confirmed
yet.
Yet.
But
It's
LeBron
like-
also supposedly looked at schools in Philadelphia
Yeah.
during the break, and
listen, there's
so
going to
on
be
and so
so
forth.
many rumors. Every
this is-
sports writer in
Yeah.
every city is going to have a rumor for their city. I mean, we saw Paul George in L.A. First of all, everyone's in L.A. in the summer. People are in Vegas. If there was a team in Vegas, there'd be rumors that Paul George and
all the
LeBron
time.
were
A lot of
signing to
guys
Las
here,
Vegas.
Yeah.
and more guys even more guys in LA. Most of the league lives in LA in the
Yeah.
offseason.
Yeah.
And so, they interviewed Paul George a couple nights ago at some video game thing or something like that. And they asked him, "Do you like playing with LeBron?" He's like, "Yeah, of course. I like playing. We've played in the All-Star game and stuff like that."
Yeah,
and
I'm sure they.
so then the rumors fly.
Oh,
He likes playing with LeBron and he's in LA. And then Kyle Kuzma took a picture with him, or Josh Hart did. And oh my gosh, it's like, dude, they're in LA. Like, that doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, you also have all the off-season runs where you've had him and Kevin Durant in the same gym. Sometimes they end up on the same team.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
just a fact. All these guys end up
Yeah.
in the same gyms.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
who else
so-
are you going to work out with? It's not like they're going to go work out with somebody
Yeah,
that's
they-
like younger me and
They-
play with them. I can't
They ain't
play
going to
with them for half a
24 hour.
second.
They ain't going to 24-hour fitness to pick up a few guys.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, the rumor's going to be everywhere. So, it's fun, though. It gives us something to talk about. But at the same time, LeBron has 2 houses in L.A.
He does.
So
Expensive ones.
Dwayne
makes
Dwayne
sense
Wade
that
said
that's
he's
going.
going to make a personal decision. Even LeBron said that it's going to be more personal this time as far as family's concerned. My kids are older, so it's not only his decision this time.
And let's not forget, every bit of word from everybody with any sort of knowledge of them is that his wife and his mother did not want him to go back to Cleveland.
Whoa.
wow.
Neither one.
And then when you look at that, when you look at the personal stuff, and they're going to go somewhere they want to be as a family, that to me almost kind of knocks Philly out. Does he really want to live in Philly, and does he want to raise his kids in Philly basketball?
Philly is more of the I want to keep going to the finals route, and this is a young team with a
and
lot of
stay
talent
in the East.
and stay in the East to stay away from the Warriors as long as possible.
Yeah.
Because I think if the Rockets don't get him, I think they're going to try to run it back. Capella will get paid, not as much as people think he'll get paid because they'll be bidding against themselves. But I think that, yeah, exactly what you're saying. Some of these places are finals contending places.
Yeah.
When if all the word that's coming out about this being a family decision really narrows it.
Yeah.
And LA starts to make a lot more sense.
Because they live there 3 months out of the year,
Yeah,
at least. And I'm
you know-
sure his wife might live there a couple more months out of the year.
Yeah,
So-
his mom's got to have somewhere for Delonte to meet up with her.
Dave.
Wow.
This is terrible.
Delonte, bring your moped.
Bring your moped. Bring what else did
Leave
he
the
have?
guns. Leave the guns. Bring the moped.
Did he have an AK on the back
Yeah.
on his back?
Wow.
I think he had like a machete or something too.
And bring your meds. Man.
Wow.
So other things in sports, the NHL draft is next week also. So we have NBA draft on Thursday. NHL draft, I believe, is Friday and Saturday. There's going to be a first pick, and he's going to be a good skater.
And he'll be playing for Buffalo.
He'll be playing
that
for
we do
Buffalo.
know.
Yeah, the Sabres definitely got the first pick.
People are going to be saying the word organization as organization.
Organization.
That's a guarantee.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be really nice. They're going to talk really nice about all the players during that draft.
You're going to see a lot of guys with.
Well,
Do
they're
you watch the draft and do
babies.
you even know college players?
They're not even college. No, you draft them when they're 18,
Yeah,
17,
it's
18.
18 or
Wow.
guys in juniors and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
I was just
They're-
about
There
to
are
ask.
you do get
babies.
college players though.
Yeah, they're mostly babies though.
You're going to see
Really?
you won't see fitted suits like you will see in the NBA.
And
No.
most-
Suits will not be fitted.
And most college or most players in the draft, they don't even play like right away, right?
No, like who did we take? Cody Glass.
Yeah,
I
you
think
usually
was
got to
our-
go through the juniors a little bit and
Mhm.
Yeah.
work it up a little
Wow.
bit.
That's so much I need to learn about hockey.
Yeah.
I feel like I need to watch the draft
Little
just to see
babies.
it. Like, I was about to ask, like, do they draft from college? Because
They
I
do.
just- doesn't
It's
seem
college
like
and
much.
younger.
Mhm.
Okay.
It can really
Like,
go either way.
Your big names you saw were drafted 18 years old though.
A lot of
Where these
times.
18-year-olds come from? The streets?
Canada.
Just the streets of
The
Canada?
A lot from
the
Canada.
Great White North.
Well, but now you get
Great
Canada,
White North.
Sweden,
They
Russia.
just
Yeah.
skating around the Yukon territory. Just
Yeah, I was seeing that there's a Russian player that I guess is 35 that's going back into the draft. That was like a big NHL. I was like, what?
what?
That's weird. I don't even know how that
I mean,
works.
where are they playing it? Like, is it like a
He was
AAU
playing in
version of
Russia
hockey?
the last
Like,
3 years, and then he says he's entering himself back into the NHL draft. I'm like, I didn't even know you could
I don't
do
think you
that.
can do that. I think he can enter himself back into the NHL. I don't think you can get redrafted again.
Mm.
Plus, I mean, I don't think anybody's using a draft pick on a 35-year-old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And
It's
also next Wednesday, out here in Las Vegas, I'm gonna try to go. Who wants to go?
Where are we going?
The
Oh,
NHL awards are
Summer
gonna
League?
be out here.
NHL awards.
I just Googled. I was just like, I just Googled Russian 35-year-old. I forgot to put draft in.
Oh,
and it's all,
no.
Oh
it's
my
all, like,
gosh!
Buy a wife.
Yeah,
Wow.
that sounds accurate. That sounds accurate.
Let me Google Russian 35-year-old.
Wow.
Forgot to put.
Honestly, it could have gone a lot worse.
Yeah.
Could have gone a lot worse.
RussianPeopleMeet.com.
Wow.
Wow.
By a
Russian
wife.
mingle.
Russian mingle.
That's the Russian mingle.
Russian mingle.
How much does a Russian wife cost?
All depends on the quality of the wife.
Wow.
You get what you pay for.
Wow.
Oh, man.
Wow. Who? This is a real thing.
Yeah,
This is
oh,
real.
100%.
Wow. Wow. This is crazy.
I happen to know somebody who was married from another country for financial purposes, and
Wow.
you can.
Ilya
you can make money.
Kovalchuk. That sounds so Russian.
Ilya Kovalchuk was a good player.
Yeah, that's who's coming back to the NHL.
But there's no way he's going into the draft.
The Bruins are interested.
It's gonna be a late round pick then.
So what's he's been doing? Just over there, like,
Well, no, there's a big
Running a
league, the
hockey rink?
Continental Hockey League in Russia.
oh, okay.
They lost some players over there for a while. It was kind of contending with the NHL for a little bit, especially with that whole strike lockout year
Okay.
that they lost. That became a little bit more problematic. But hockey's way more on the upswing here now.
Okay.
Good stuff. So
All right.
back to my question. Who wants to go to the NHL awards?
Where's it at? T-Mobile?
It's actually at the Joint at the Hard Rock.
Do you have tickets?
I'm about to see.
Um,
They're not too crazy.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what's the price? Because I'm cheap.
Yeah. What day is it?
possibly.
It's on Wednesday.
Wednesday.
You know me and hockey players. Will Riley Smith be there?
Probably no. We're talking about it's the NHL awards, not the Knights awards.
Well,
Riley
Knights,
Smith will not be
Knights are
there.
going to win a lot of awards.
No, they're not.
What?
Yeah, they are.
They'll win Coach of the Year,
GM of the year.
Team
GM
of the year,
of the Year. That's it.
Team
That's
of the
it.
year, story
it.
of the year,
They're not up for. They don't have anybody up for really anything else.
Yeah, that's probably true.
goalie of the year.
No, he's not up for a Vezina. Missed too many games.
Yeah, he
He
did.
did.
Yeah, so we'll check that out and see what's up. But if not, we'll be watching it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
NHL awards. So yeah, anything else on the NHL draft, Tracy?
I don't have anything. No, it's not. You're right, Dave. It's not the draft, but he's
He's ready to
put
come back.
himself out there. He's ready to come back as a 35-year-old.
And Tracy has put herself out there to the young men of the NHL draft.
Young men,
She is.
Not too young. I've learned my
18 and over.
Hey, they're getting paid. They're grown men. Who knows
Oh,
what they had to
no.
go through in Saskatoon?
No. I'm not. My friends would
kill.
kill me.
Sas-
They're like, no more 25-year-olds.
18
no
is
more.
like Saskatoon 35.
oh, my
25.
God.
How old are you?
32.
Oh yeah, 25's young.
Yeah.
25.
Like children.
Tracy, 25. Whoa.
I mean, you gotta
got
find
really
your
excited.
Really like popped
Tracy. You
up.
gotta find your prospects in the
That's what she
draft.
said.
I mean, you
Yeah.
gotta really develop them in your organization or your organization in Canada.
Organization.
Organization.
Gotta
I
put in
love
that work.
Canadians are the nicest people.
They are like.
so wonderful.
mm.
Do you have a Canadian
Let me-
person?
let me-
who's
all
not
my
nice?
all my
No,
Canadian passengers,
here's-
especially
Here's
the
your problem.
women.
Canadians are nice, but Canadians are cheap.
Let me give
That's
you
fine.
an explanation. All right, I used to work for
Uh-oh.
about a year, 2 years at a
Careful,
company.
Steve. We have Canadian listeners.
I hope so.
Listen, and I will tell them this to their face. They know it because I have.
Oh,
Okay,
all
I used to
Canadians?
work for this company,
Drake's coming for you.
the Canadian International Bank of Commerce, CIBC.
OVO.
And over the phone, we used to do technical support. So the only thing I did for 8 hours a day was talk to Canadians. Yes, some of them are nice. Some of them. Here's the thing with Canadians, like being mean or being evil.
Wait a
They're
minute.
they're not good at it.
No.
So they
They're so
tried.
polite.
They tried to be like a really like just a pain in the butt to you. But the words that they use and their explanations and they're like, it's just you look at them and it's like, why are you acting like this? Like you were clearly acting and you are a bad actor. Like you're really trying to be.
'Cause it's so ingrained.
You know what I mean?
For
Like
them to
yeah,
be polite.
you were
But-
really
but
trying to be
Steve-
mean
but
to
Steve,
me and you
you're-
suck at it. Like
The thing you messed up on
And they
is
don't
letting
tip
us,
either.
letting us know you were doing phone call support, right?
yeah.
So first of all, we're all mean to you guys. There's not one person that's going to be nice. So that's a bad example. You need
No.
to meet them
I'm
personally on a
so-
regular
Okay.
level.
99% of the time, I'm so nice.
Let me. All right.
Oh,
Let me.
I
let me-
yell at
let
every
me give-
customer
let me
service. I don't
give
even
you-
care if it's something like
No.
You get
I'm getting
so
something
much more,
free.
Yep, you get so much more stuff.
you
because-
have
Let
to
me-
be mean.
I understand that.
That's a bad
But
example.
I've also worked on the strip since 2006, so 12 years now, and I've come across plenty of Canadians who ain't much better. Okay,
Hmm.
so
Maybe they just like me.
So look,
maybe I just find
all the
really
all the
great
Canadian people I meet
some
on
of
the
them
strip like me.
I've met some people and they're great and they're Canadian, and I've met some people who are not so great and they're also Canadian. So this is when you call
Could
my
be you,
look,
Steve.
Look, when you
Could
call my tech support and you're telling me that your machine's not working and I'm trying to get you to fix it, and halfway through the conversation,
But they've probably already troubleshot. This,
No,
this is my problem with
no.
technical support.
Okay.
They've already done. Did you power it on? Yes,
No.
I powered it on. That's why I'm calling you
Well,
because it's still not working.
Let me tell you my story, Quan, and you can tell me who's stupid here or who's the bad guy,
I
right?
didn't say you're stupid.
So
Steve.
look, I know you didn't, but I'm just saying because this person's
Don't make me call
this
you
is-
stupid on air.
And this
I only do that in the chat group.
and this is a very common call. They would call in. They can't get the machine to work. We're walking them through it, power it off, power it on, unplug it, plug it back in, this and that. Somewhere about 15 minutes in, right before I send out an actual technician to go to their place and fix it, they're like, well, there was a storm today and, nobody's the power's just not working in the building. So the whole time this terminal's not working because the power is off in the building. And then when I explain to them, look, if there's no power in the building, the machine will not work. It's a computer. It needs electricity to work.
This
They're
sounds like a
now-
made-up story to make yourself look better.
They're now mad at me because I can't get the power and they have to wait for the power guy. That's the sad part, is I'm not making this up. For 2 years, I dealt with calls
And that
like
was a
this
Canadian caller.
regularly.
That was a
from
Canadian caller.
Everybody I talked to was from Canada.
Were they Canadian though?
Yes.
How do you know?
Because they talk like this and they say about and about and and
That did not sound like a Canadian.
it's-
That
I don't
sound
know.
that
I
sound
don't
like
know.
Kenya right
I
there.
think
Whatever.
Steve.
that was bad.
wherever they're from. But trust me,
Canadian.
Well, we
Canadian,
know who
whatever.
Steve is unfriending
Eh?
all of Canada.
Ah. And
Look.
speaking of unfriending, it's that time of the show. This is our unfriended segment. And I'm going to start with Tracy because I think she already knows. Maybe, maybe not. But we're starting with Tracy anyway, so she has to think about it. Dave looks like he's going to unfriend all of his workers.
I can I not go there? No, okay. Who should I unfriend? Oh, you know what? Since the World Cup started today,
Okay.
I'm unfriending the German national team.
Wow.
Just getting it
a
out of the
whole
way.
team.
The whole team. All of their amazing players.
Wow.
You are not my friend. You're not welcome.
You're not my friend.
I already told I don't know if no, I didn't say we were talking about it before, but my team for the last 3 World Cups has run into Germany and not made it out the other side. So
Wow.
I'm hoping this year is the year that we find a way somehow. And they cheated one year, I would like to point out. But when we went to PKs, with them. Their goalie took like a note card with like all of our tendencies and took it out on
Wow.
the field with him. Anyway,
Yeah, but every team goes over those tendencies.
they do, but technically in the World Cup they said it was a uniform violation afterwards, and they should have taken it away from him. Anyway, I hate Germany. So it's not just unfriending, it's a different, whatever the next level is above that, blocking.
Wow.
I've blocked them.
Blocking.
Yeah.
Reporting their profile is fake.
Right. Exactly.
So they have to send their ID through Facebook and start using their real name instead of the name that everyone knew them by for 20 years.
There you go.
All right, Steve Huff. Who do you got? Who you unfriending this week?
I don't even know whose job this is, but I'm just going to say it. The White House. I've stumbled across this story. Apparently, it is an official job of somebody to tape papers back together after Donald Trump rips them apart. This is a legit,
True story.
real job.
Because you have to document everything.
Yep.
Every single thing has to be documented. They have to keep, logs of it or whatever. So if he gets a document, and this apparently happens like on the daily, and he reads it and he gets mad and doesn't like what he read,
I could imagine him getting mad and ripping something.
he rips it up. But listen,
Doesn't
Quan,
seem like his character.
I'm not talking about mad like just one rip down the middle, ball it up and throw it across the room. I'm talking rip like jigsaw puzzle level ripping and throwing it on the floor.
Professional jigsaw puzzler.
And now there's a staff of people who are being paid who come in there with Scotch tape and they have to tape together these documents. This is a real legit phenomenon. And because technically it's illegal for those documents to be destroyed, which is a thing. So
That's crazy.
There's
Yeah.
no reason for us to know this, but it's the leakiest White House
oh gosh, yeah.
that we've seen. It's
Ever.
terrible.
I don't know how this got out or how it whatever, but I was reading it like oh, this has got to be fake news. Like that's the only reason I read it. I was like, I got to be entertained right here. This has got to be funny, and it's
No,
not even funny. It was just
It's
like,
sad.
wow, this is really like just retarded. Like, why is this even an issue?
So
Like,
Steve is unfriending. He doesn't know who he's unfriending, but somebody in the White
everybody
House.
in the White House,
Everybody in the White
at
House.
least for a week. Yeah, the cooks, the
At least for a
cleaners,
week.
the Secret
Wow.
Service. Yeah,
They got to make money, Steve. You're mean.
yeah, they give them a vacation. They deserve it. They had to work extra hard.
Don't
this
blame
year.
everyone for Trump.
Yeah, they all getting paid.
I'm ready.
Pretty sure they get paid better than me.
Not. I think some of those workers cooking food are getting paid that much.
Yeah, it's got to be a little bit more than working at
Have you seen the White House chef?
Yeah.
Like one of them?
No.
You Google it. There's a White House chef that looks like he could just crush you with his hand.
Wow.
It's
Ball
a
it.
big dude.
All right, Dave, who you
Impressive.
unfriending this week?
I got nothing. I'm going to maintain the positivity this week.
Wow. What? I don't like this.
You don't want to unfriend Germany with me?
No.
No, because he's
I
so
would-
impressed by them.
I would picture.
I think he's really angry right now and really wants to unfriend someone in real life, and that's why he's holding back.
There is that.
People who say
That's probably more of
wingspan.
it.
Don't say your names, but is it people on the strip that you want to?
No.
Do they work
No.
on the strip?
No. They're not
No?
worth getting into.
Okay.
Anyway,
Exactly.
No one
move it along.
And I'm unfriending people that keep stopping rap beefs. We talked about it last week. And then the Lakers had a rap beef, Lonzo Ball and Kuzma, and now Lakers are coming out saying like, "Stop it, no more rap beefs." Why is this the year of the rap beef stoppages?
Well, because
don't
I think
get
in this
that.
case they're worried that once somebody actually gets their feelings hurt, in this one it's like you have a team that you have to deal with.
And doesn't it seem like that's the point it's getting at? Like Lonzo called out like you don't know your dad and like all this other stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like, listen, it's all fun and games, but we've seen it like on the basketball court or in clowning sessions. You know what I'm saying? Like people are clowning each other, and all of a sudden it's like somebody,
That's the
he
White
would,
House.
he would kill somebody. It looks like the Green Mile. But it seems like that point to where like you clown each other so much that it ends up being a fight in the street, and it's starting out as a joke for the first like 2 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, you take it those steps too far. Everybody's laughing, then one person stops laughing, the other
Yeah.
person keeps laughing.
And then there's a fight in the locker room, and then somebody has to get traded, and then there's Snapchat videos.
Yeah, I think at the moment it's entertaining and fun. What everything you guys are saying is true though. It only, especially with younger kids, even full grown adults, it doesn't matter. It always just one person who says that one thing, and it's it's like, oh, we've been saying mama jokes all day, but then, oh, you said my grandma, like, and then yeah, next thing you know they're fighting. I like it though. I love to see people rag on each other. I think it's funny. Just until somebody gets it's all fun and games until you don't have a comeback, or until that one person hits you with that, with that.
So that's why I'm unfriending. Like, stop stopping rap beefs, and let Drake come out with his diss track that's supposed to end Kanye and Pusha T's career.
Okay.
So things we didn't talk about, and we would have talked about it. Joshua Sear, the U.S. Open started today, and if Tiger doesn't do good, we're not going to talk about it. So
he's last time I checked, he was +8. It's not, and today with the conditions there, even is an incredible score, but he's struggling.
Okay. So we probably won't talk about that anymore.
There are other players. He's playing with two of the best players in the world.
Come on. This is Unnamed Sports, so you haven't listened much, have you?
No, I've never heard you guys talk about golf.
Exactly.
Because ain't no Tiger.
We did 10 years ago. So, check us out. We are here live every Tuesday and Thursday, 2 p.m. West Coast time. We're going to be talking about more draft, World Cup on Tuesday, and a lot of stuff. So just stay tuned. Subscribe to us. Download our podcast, iTunes, Google Play. Follow us on YouTube also. You can watch the videos, the replays. Follow us at Guerilla Cross on all social media. And we will talk to you on Tuesday. I'm going to eat some sushi.